Blog Talk Radio.
Okay. We warming up the kitchen, people. We are back in the building, or better yet, we are outside the doors here in Sports City. Welcome to the Cookout. The call-in number is 929-477-2759. It's an oldie but goodie. This is where everybody gets to call in, communicate, give us what's on their mind. But more importantly, I have to save the city once again. We have the villain back in the building. Barry J., welcome back. How are you feeling this evening?
I am blessed and highly favored as the super villain of Sports City. I'm back. The return is here. I was gone for a minute, but I'm back. It's so good to be back. What's up, TP? How you doing, baby?
I done took off my blazer, loosened up the tie, stepped aside the kitchen. Tymeless is alive. I'm feeling some type of way in Sports City. I'm happy that this villain has found church. So I don't know what's happening, man. If he's trying to use a superpower or he's trying to use the power of the man. So like I don't want no problems. I don't have to pull out my moves today. Like I gotta let him get his rust off. But I'm doing all right, man. The state of the world got me stressing, but it is what it is. As long as I got my people, they in my corner. As long as we can make stuff move, I'm all right, man. But like we said, there's a lot of stuff to get into across the board, from MLB, NFL, NCAA, football, everything you could think of, you can name it. It's going on in the building. So you are here at the cookout. We haven't heard you, so I got to get you to throw the first dish out. I mean, what's on your mind? We could chop this thing up.
I mean, listen. First of all, I'm glad to be back. I have been on a long break, just getting myself together, getting healthy. Being a family man and everything, it's good to hear your voice and talk to you, on the Sports City, and throw some dishes around. So, I'm happy for that. But I mean, listen, this is unprecedented territory right now with, the NBA finals starting relatively soon. NFL is getting into the end of their first quarter. NCAA football, pretty much all the conferences will be back next month. You got MLB, October, baseball. You know where I got to start. I mean, I was going to start with a couple, maybe NBA and stuff, but listen, today was the craziest day. Today we had about 8 games going on in baseball playoffs, unprecedented. One of the games is your boys, the Minnesota Twins. Listen, as much as we're boys, I love you, we're good friends, we go way back, I'm still a villain. I got to tweak you. What happened?
This is simple, and I don't like to point fingers or pick on people. Like it's certain individuals that I've given several instances or third or fourth chances, if you will, and I don't like to do that. Like the main one that I pick on are like Ryan Tannehill or Jay Cutler or Blaine Gabbert, like things of that nature. Like those guys that repetitively have done something crazy in the game, it's like I would do that. But this time, from yesterday into today, and this is a guy that a lot of people love because he's a good-natured guy, in Rocco Baldelli. So you're
blaming the coach,
the skipper, right?
Wow.
Rocco Baldelli, in the midst of the game yesterday. Now, mind you, I feel a certain type of way about when people see problematic players, they pull them. You know what I'm saying? Before they make the problem happen, don't put them in harm's way because everything is on the line right now. So enters somebody that is completely content, to me, in my eyes, Sergio Romo, a guy that has won 3 World Series with the San Francisco Giants. He's done almost everything. He's won 3 championships in the 2010 to now with the run that the Giants were on in the early portion of the decade. So they put him in the closing position last night, and every pitch he throws is a 70-mile-an-hour pitch to a team that likes to hit. So you're giving him opportunities to basically softball pitch these guys, and let alone he wasn't even giving them softball pitches. He was walking them to the bases. He wasn't even – it was like he was scared to get to the plate. He got the bases loaded, I think it was, and then Polanco had an errant throw to Reyes, which that was an easy throw for him because he's an all-star. And I'm pissed that it came to that point that, Polanco made an error at this portion of time in the season because Polanco doesn't boot the ball like that. Like, that doesn't happen. And then they scored 2 more runs at this point in time. So it's unfortunate that situation that happened. And then the Twins get up the plate. They have 2 runners on the pads, and they put in Williams Astudillo, who this guy is ice cold off the bench. He probably got one of the greatest eyes in the league. Between him and Luis Reyes, they can see the ball at any given moment. Like, if the pitcher throws the ball, they're going to make contact. But the one thing about Astudillo is he'll make contact and hit it right to a defender or somebody in the field. So, and clearly, the first pitch came. There were 2 people on the bases. He hit it to a third baseman, and here goes the out. So it's like, and they turned a double play because it was 1 out. So they turned a double play that ends that game. So then here goes the funny part about today. This is a must-win situation, and I don't know if you've been watching the Twins closely, but I know that people are
not this year, but I did watch the game.
Right. Okay. So see, this is where you have to. This is where I sit the villain down, people. This is where you give them the sit down and you give them some humble pie, people. This is what you do. So
I did humble pie.
Oh, hold on. Get a spoon. I got you. So then, enters today, game 2. It's a must-win because it's a series of the best of 3. And right an hour before the game, they say Byron Buxton cannot play due to injury. He won't start. It's like, wait, hold on. You're playing to get to the World Series. Right. This is the skipper. You're asking me questions. I got you. So you're playing to get to the World Series. Everything's on the line, and the hottest player on your roster in the month of September is Byron Buxton. This guy's hit probably like 9 home runs in the month of September, and today is the last day of the month, and he didn't get to come to the plate because you're saying he's dealing with an injury? Well, guess what that cost you? Because you try to put him in late in the game. He got picked up because he wasn't in the flow of the game, and they go into the 9th inning again, 1-1, and have the closer and Taylor Rogers, who's been shaky all season. Matter of fact, I hate to butcher Taylor because I feel he's a very good guy. He's humble. He's been beaten up since last year. Last year, he's been coming into the closing position. He's not been able to shut the door a lot. They're waiting for him to come in there and tattoo him, and he gave up 2 runs again in the 9th inning. And it's like, why are you putting the pitchers in that are shell-shocked? Even in the early portion of this game when Jose Barrios has been rocked since, I want to say, since the Yankees got to him in the postseason last year, he hasn't really been himself. And he was pitching real good in the early innings, and then here we go again. As soon as he couldn't find a location of the pitching box, basically, they rocked him. They got a run in, and it was like he was shell-shocked, and he finally got out the inning, and the Twins put up a run. As soon as the Twins put up a run, he goes 1, 2, 3. He strikes. He takes care of the side, and then they pull him for the remainder of the game, and then start putting in the bullpen. And the bullpen, is playing shaky. But I look at Rocco Baldelli. He's a great guy. This was a bad 2 days of him managing. Like I'm mad at that. Secondly, Sergio Romo, I understand you had a great career, but it should not end in Minnesota. I think they have to move on to greener pastures with you. And the one thing that hurts me the most for me to say right now, and I'm in the midst of my feelings for a city, so y'all got to hear me. I got the guy's jersey and everything. Miguel Sano, you got to be kidding me to be hitting like this. Miguel Sano is probably one of the biggest power hitters in the league. But Miguel Sano is at the point in where I couldn't believe I heard this stat. He is striking out at a clip that ranks him number 2 in Major League Baseball history. He has been striking out that much at the plate. I was like, wait, hold on. Like, there's nobody from, like the 1800s or, 1906? No, Miguel Sano, at this point in time, is striking out at a clip that ranks him 2nd ever in baseball. I'm like, okay, you have a big name in the league. You've been into you went to the All-Star Weekend for the Home Run Derby. People know you carry a big bat. They know what you do. There is no way in hell that you sit around Nelson Cruz, Max Kepler, I'm trying to think of all the guys, Luis Reyes. There's a ton of guys that have great eyes that can see the ball, and you just swinging for the fence every time you get up there. Like, you're just hoping that you can connect and get it out the park. Now, granted, I love it when you catch contact because that's why I bought the doggone jersey because this dude hit bombs like, Judge or Alonso, Trout, like he's a bomber. So that's what I like. But if you're coughing us with bases loaded, there's guys in runners in scoring position and can't get people across the plate, that hurts. Let alone you got people that are in the field backing up to the warning track because they know what you can do. Hit for contact. Just hit the ball to get the ball in play. You do not have to knock it out of the park. This is Little League, and let alone the Twins. The Twins are small ball team. They always play small ball, like trying to get in play or steal bases, things of that nature. They not playing that like since last year. They took the league by storm and, hit the most home runs in the season. It's like everybody get up to the plate and do that. Everybody get to the plate and want to hit a bomb. It's like, no, get to your essence. When that pitch comes, you know what to do with it. Like, it's simple. It's a lot of people that did not come to play. Like, there's a lot of people I could push out there, but Miguel Sano not getting a hit. Max Kepler not getting hits. And an unfortunate time in these past two games. And that's my favorite player on the Twins is Max Kepler. And, like, where did these guys disappear to? Jorge Polanco could not get a hit at all. It's like, and then the one game that you have of Buxton, he struck out all game last night, and it came to this game, you put him in the 8th or 7th inning to try and be a base runner, and he got picked off. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Everybody in the world knew what he was coming in there to do, to steal a base, and they caught him right when he got on the bases. And I'm like, this is just an unfortunate time for the Twins. And like, again, Rocco, I love you because your story. Your story is the one thing that keeps me tied to you. If you were an average another individual, I would feel a certain way. But, this is all on him right now, and there's a lot of players that could have stepped up and they didn't. Like, everybody else follows the head of the snake. And right now, the head of the snake is Rocco Baldelli. I'm sorry that you're a personable guy, but you have to get this blame. But your thoughts on the situation?
Well, I mean, this rant was brought to you by the Cookout show, TP Tymeless, the hero. Usually this is the villain's part to go on a long rant, but I let you get it because I know you were salty, and I love to hear it when you're salty because, my teams are pretty bad, but yours, I mean, sometimes they're pretty epic. When they're bad, they're bad. But listen, I can't go after Baldelli on this one. I agree with you. He got outmanaged by – listen, Dusty Baker, the job he did with this team, with all the circumstances around Houston, with the cheating scandal, with losing their starting pitcher Cole to the Yankees, losing Verlander to injury, and then this team basically sleepwalking through the 60-game season to get them into the playoffs, and then win 2 games on the road against a team that's 24-7 at home. It is pretty remarkable. I got to tip my cap to Dusty Baker, 15 all-time and wins in Major League history. The guy can manage. He can manage a team, but Baldelli got outmanaged by Baker, no question about it. But the sequence that bothered me, you alluded to it yesterday, was the error by Polanco with a guy that rarely makes an error. That just opened the floodgates for that game. And then today, when I'm watching the sequence when Buxton comes in to pinch run for Cruz, which is a good call, but if you're not playing Buxton, okay, you're one of your best players, you're not playing him because of an injury, why are you bringing him in to pinch run? And then what really boggled my mind is then they pinch hit Rosario because he hadn't got a hit all series. I mean, and it's only 2 games, but, I mean, basically he hadn't looked good at the plate.
They didn't, no, you got that wrong. No, you got that wrong. They didn't pinch hit Rosario. Rosario got thrown out the game.
Oh, that's right. My fault. That's my – okay.
So Rosario – listen, so the up was inconsistent all game long, and the Astros were getting mad at it, and then they happened to Rosario because the ball was outside of the zone. And he said something. He said like 2 or 3 words to him in turning away, and he the umpire already had enough of the Astros talking, and he gave Rosario no chance to get to the dugout and threw him out and entered Jake Cave. And I can't even get mad because Jake has been having a good season this year. Jake Cave has been hitting the ball, but it's like
he had a good season, and he had to step in. You're right, that was my fault. He did get thrown out. I apologize, but then he had him down 3-2. 3-2, okay, and Buxton's not running. I mean, if you bring in Buxton to steal a base, why aren't you running in a 1-1 game when it's a full count to stay out of a double play, potentially? And then the next, he strikes out on a high fastball, off the plate, outside, and then the next play he gets picked off. And like that right there is where he got outmanaged. To me, that was the problem with the series. And then the errors, the mental errors, and then the errors in the field kind of cost them. And then now we have to hear Correa coming back. So what do they got to say now and everything? Like, listen, guy, you're still a cheater. You guys barely hit your weight all year. You didn't have a batter over, I think, over 270 all year. I mean, it hurts. It sucks to have to hit when you don't have a drum telling you what pitch is coming. You know what I'm saying? But that's beside the point. I mean, now you're talking all this smack, and the team that nobody wants to move on is moving on. And I thought the Twins, listen, I thought the Twins can get to at least definitely to the division series, but probably to the ALCS with their lineup because they have one of the best lineups, and they got a sneaky good rotation. But 2-out, 18 straight losses going back to 2004. Most of those at the hands of the Yankees, but I mean, a lot of these guys were kids when that streak started. But it's mind-boggling that this Twins team, at one point they were probably one of the best teams in the American League, and now they're home. So that was kind of mind-boggling. But it was a crazy day in baseball. I mean, I would handicap all the series, but a lot of them have already started. My Yankees are down 4-1. After a couple of rain delays, playing against Cleveland. Good game one, going after Bieber, who is going to be the AL Cy Young. Tattooed him, roughed him up for about, I think, 7 runs, a couple home runs, 4 home runs in total. Judge, Stanton, and the boys hitting some home runs, Gleyber Torres, but now they're down, so that it's a 3-game series. So one game can ruin your whole season. And you're looking in the NL, you're seeing the Padres, who I thought could give the Dodgers a lot of trouble, automatically down to an elimination game after losing at home to a veteran Cardinals team. Atlanta, Atlanta, Cincinnati, TP. I don't even know if you saw this game, but it's like Cincinnati did everything in their power not to win the game. They had so many opportunities. They left the Village on the base pass. They had, I think, 12, 13 hits in the game, and couldn't push a run up. It was 0-0 going into the 13th, and then Freeman walks it off. So I'm like, it's a crazy day. MLB baseball, taking the shine, but now it's turning over to the nighttime, and nighttime the right time for the Lakers and Heat. So. I don't know if you had anything else to add of baseball, but I mean, it was a crazy day. It's actually kind of fun to see all these games and kind of flipping back and forth.
Well, just like I said, I gotta shake the rust off him. I gotta feed him. So he just came here. He snapped the fingers for City at the right time. He got us at the right time. But no worry, things will come back around. And it's unfortunate for the Twins because right now I'm not just mad at the streak because the Twins were taking care of their business in the Central, but a lot of the teams that the Twins had, they never had pitching, and it would be like 1 or 2 batters, and the rest of the lineup was weak. But this right here, while all 9 of these batters can do damage at the plate, and nobody did. You mean to tell me in a 2-game series, in a 3-game series, they played 2 games, and the Twins only had 2 runs? If you sat there and told me that before the playoffs would start, I'd be mad. It'd be a fight. I'll argue till I was blue in the face, and you call me Papa Smurf, I would go crazy. They scored a run a day at home, and they were comfortable up against pitchers that did not do any work or damage this season. And it's like the guy that I'm looking at, it's one guy that I know that has to go, but I'm on the fence about watching him go. It might be Eddie Rosario. As much as I like him being a bomber, He does not make contact. He's a first pitch swinger and does not make that contact a lot of the time. He's one of those swing for the fences type of guys, and they're bringing in all type of outfielders through the farm system because this is my bias and this is true. I don't care, and I'll argue this until the cows come home. The Twins have the best farm in the league, so they got a whole bunch of outfielders in the farm that they're just sitting in by the wayside waiting to get these guys out there, and you're holding this up where the guy that's not performing. And he's a lovable guy, but I think he might be one of the guys that have to go. Sano may be in trouble too, but with Romo, and Rogers being the guys in the back end, and they're the ones giving up hits, and Barrios is shaky too. There's a lot of questions, and they just threw $94 million into Josh Donaldson, and it's unfortunate that it's, his calf bothered him or whatever, but it's like that's the investment that you guys made on a guy that is clearly having the same issues that's happened to him throughout his career, and it happened right at the doorstep of the postseason. So it's unfortunate. I'm bitter because it's just a couple hours ago that it happened, but not with this type of lineup. Not you can't tell me anything. There's silver slugger. This is the crazy part. There's silver slugger catchers, right? This is why I'm baffled by Baldelli. I'm like, if I see him, we be arguing. I'll probably go to jail. Something will happen or something like that. But you have two silver slugger catchers on the bench, and Mitch Garver and Alex Avila that you picked up from Detroit. He won it previously, not last year, but Garver won it last year. Two of them, and they're sitting on the bench for a rookie catcher and Ryan Jeffers. And don't take me wrong, like he can hit when he catches the ball, but he's a rookie. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
You got two silver slugger catchers sitting the bench. Are you out of your mind? Who's doing this? Who is doing that? Who's taking the opportunity to try something out in the post? Let me try this and see if it works. No, people are trying to win. They ain't trying to sit up here and see what this guy can do. So you could be in the press conference. Well, yeah, I was calling today that rookie can't do. No, who's doing that? Who told you that? Like, where's your ethics at? Come on, like there's no way, no how. Horrible. I'm not letting you let that escape with Rocco Baldelli. Rocco Baldelli, you from New England. It's your birthday yesterday. You come home and get this humble pie. For real. Nothing. I'm not taking nothing away from the Astros. They did their thing. I am a Dusty Baker fan by far. He did his thing, and just like you said, he outmanaged Rocco. So that's on the skipper. If the skipper's not prepared, then it's on him. And he's at home. I can see if Dusty was in the middle of Houston enjoying some Texas toast. He came to Minnesota and said, in the middle of the game, I'm enjoying the fact that we got to stay in the hotel and I got money in my pocket. He couldn't do nothing.
Twin City, baby.
Come on. Listen, the give or take that they won the two games, I'm tipping my hat to Houston, but Rocco Baldelli, you have a point to prove next year. I could care less if you win the Central 2 years in a row. I could care less if you were a rookie manager and did it last year and one of the best rookie managers to win over 100 games out the gate. I could care less. You have to get the job done when it counts. They're paying you to get it done, and you had a whole lineup of bombers. That's like they gave you a second-rate, Yankee lineup, and you didn't get a game one. There was nothing, no bunts, no everybody coming up there striking out or popping up. Like, come on. Enough is enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, Cruz he hit. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back, if they want to bring him back for another year.
And then Nelson Cruz, like he's 40, and like he's a bomber. Yeah. Like I love Nelson, but it's like if he retires, they sign him. I think,
Getting better with age, though, TP. I mean, 40 years old and had a really good year, but how much longer can you, ride that horse out? So. We'll see. Until
Miguel Sano get it under control, I don't know. As long as he, I really feel bothersome because Nelson said he wants to retire a twin. They signed him, I think, through next year. But it's like, what is it guaranteed that they win a championship 2021? Is it guaranteed if Donaldson can be healthy for a whole season? Is it guaranteed that you keep a lot of these players so the lineup can stay stacked as it was for the past two regular seasons? And yeah, I don't care what happens through, it'll be October tomorrow. I don't care what happens through October to February. You need a whole four starting pitchers, period. All of them, scratch them. You can't go with Rich Hill, he's 40, and they tattooed him. You can't go with Homer Bailey, that's trying to come back right now. You can't go with Jake Odorizzi, who had a blister that held him out all season long, and then he came back and caused a blister again. Like, all of your starting pitchers have been rocked and rattled in their heads. You need to go and get a lefty or two and two pitchers that have a clear mind. They don't know nothing about the Yankees. They don't know nothing about the history of Minnesota. They know nothing about the streak or anything like that. They have to get their ish together. Rocco Baldelli, I am furious. You lucky I don't fly out to Minnesota right now and give you a piece of my mind. I will end up in jail today. I would. Okay, we do have a caller in queue calling out of the DMV area. We have Aaron Sirius Simmons in the building. Welcome to the Cookout. How are you feeling this evening?
Man, it really makes my blood boil, right? I get out of church dealing with, the young people, you know what I'm saying? The good Lord bless me, and I hear this man on these airways talking about Twinkie baseball. Jesus takes the wheel. Like, what in the holy of holies is going on here in the kitchen? I'm sorry to all the peoples that's going to download this and listen to it later, to all the people that listen to it as live. This is not the type of content that we want to put out. We want to put out good sport city content, not Twinkie baseball, not Detroit Lions football, not Thunder Up, none of that nonsense, man. We need to stop that. So I'm here to bring law and order to this kitchen right now. Forget them damn Twinkies, man.
I mean, if you want, I could really go your way. I could talk about Penn State. I could talk about Florida State. I could talk about
easy with Florida State now. We're rebuilding.
I could talk about wait, and I got two of y'all boys up together. Don't make me put stuff on the grill. I could talk about how Houston took both of my players out of OKC and got both of these dudes so mad at each other that they talking about giving Russ to the Knicks. So picture Russ going to the Knicks after one season with Houston. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Look, I can do this. Like I've been peaceful.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I didn't interrupt you. I let you speak. Wait, hold on. I'll let you speak.
Guys, this isn't the presidential debate. This isn't the presidential debate. Calm down.
Hold on. Wait. I'll let you speak. You see what I'm saying? So when I start cooking, this is what doggone happens. You know what I'm saying? I've been leaving people alone. You know what I'm saying? So they take my point guard from me. They take my backup point guard, and then they take my point guard, and then they get ready to tell Russ he can leave.
Here's with that.
Oh my!
You know dang on good and well, I did not want that dude on my roster.
Oh yes, you did. Oh stop it, yo. Okay, Sports City. I'm glad we on air. I'm glad we on air, Sports City. I'm glad we on air, Sports City. Yo, check this out. Yo, Barry. I want to keep it. Wait, hold on.
So here we go. If he gets traded to the New York Knickerbockers, the Philadelphia 76ers, or whoever the heck else wants them, deuces.
No, now he said deuces. Okay. Wait, Barry. Before you get cooking, wait. Before you get cooking, Before you get cooking, right? Barry, wait, hold on, wait. Before you get cooking, Barry, check this out, right? Yo, okay, so Russ came to the Thunder in 2008, right? I met Sirius in 2010 here in this doggone kitchen, right? Yo, every single show, every single week, every single month, every single year, he go on that Russ, right? So then Russ started going off with Rock. You remember that little turn when he was going off and Harden was missing, right? Remember that, right, Barry?
Yeah.
Here he go. He would never even say Russell Westbrook's name to me in person. He wouldn't say it on Facebook. He wouldn't say it on Twitter. He wouldn't say it on IG. He would say it nowhere. Now and then he said it to me on the phone conversation. I was like, oh, so now you a Russ dude. He's like, yo, he's saving us. He's saving us. Word to my face. Now all of a sudden, wait, hold on. Now all of a sudden, he's talking about deuces. He's talking about deuces with his chest out. And he's coming to me like that. You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding.
Boy, see, this is why I need to be in the building right now, because he's over here, 45-minute line and whatnot. I've got the receipts. I ain't never said that. I was on Facebook. This homie right here is telling stories. Anyway, bro,
I'm telling stories.
Wow.
I'm telling stories.
It's been a minute, Barry, man. How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
You know what I'm saying? I miss you, brother. I miss you. Listen, we're going to have to do some fact checking because this is worse than the presidential debate. Like, this is insane. I love it. Listen, we are cooking. We are burning up some wings, some burgers, some ribs, everything in here today. Listen, it's serious. Don't you, to quote Ricky Bobby, don't you put that evil on me. Don't you talk about Russell coming to the Knicks. I don't want him. Okay? Listen. Let's get into some basketball. Okay? Serious, I'm
wait.
so glad you're here.
I cut you off, Barry. So let me know your thoughts on the potential. And just like Phil said, it may be you guys or Philly. I think there was another team that they said, Russ, the trade rumor. I'll do rumor. I don't want to say the talks, but the rumor of the team that they could potentially go to.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about handling that situation as an objective sports kind of analysis, but I'm going to take it as a beaten and frustrated Knicks fan. Hail to the nah. All right, I don't want that guy on my team. Listen, Russell Westbrook is an Energizer bunny. He plays hard for 40-plus minutes. I'll give him that, but the guy is a flawed player. He can't shoot that, and he loves to shoot. And I had this discussion, TP, you know my brother. I had this discussion with him, and it's like he gets these triple-doubles, but they're meaningless triple-doubles, okay? They're not impactful triple-doubles, okay? He's not scoring, all these points to pull them to victory. He's not grabbing the most important rebound. He's grabbing long rebounds to get 10 of them. You know what I'm saying? He's forcing passes to get 10 assists. The guy, this is not impactful triple-doubles. When LeBron gets a triple-double, that's an impactful triple-double. So, I mean, he's like a stat filler. It's a Knick thing to do to get Russell Westbrook, a guy that nobody wants, is a marquee player that put butts in the seats, get his stats, and we won't win. That's the typical Knick thing to do. Thank you. But, I don't see the fit in Houston. I don't know why they traded for him. I think listen, he was on the market. They took a chance and they missed. I don't see him working. I don't see it working in Philadelphia either. I don't see two guys on the wing that can't shoot with him and Ben Simmons. Maybe they have to trade Ben Simmons to get him, but I don't see that working either. So I think Houston, they made their bet. They're going to have to sleep in it now. They're going to have to keep this guy. I don't know why you would want him.
Yeah, that's beautiful that you say that. I love that you say that like that. And here goes the crazy part, right? He was shooting well in OKC. I can't say that he was a Steph Curry type of shooter, but he did decent. When he got to Houston, and it's like repetitive, like deja vu almost, when you see it happen before and it's happening again. This is the same thing that happened in Oklahoma City with Andre Roberson. It was like Andre Roberson did the Space Jam Ghost and put that junk in Russ' body, and Russ didn't even want to just shoot no more. It was one game, Russ was standing out there by himself, everybody on the floor, everybody in America was looking at him, Russ was just looking around like, I ain't about to shoot. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, hold on. When you got OKC, you was pulling. When KD was around, you was pulling up everybody. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, we was a 3-1, and KD was on fire. You didn't want to get KD the ball? I'm like, we don't want it. Where was you at? Like, why did you do that?
That's the D'Antoni effect.
He get the using and do that to them. I'm like, well, are you serious? And now he's a trade talk. He not even talking junk like he was OKC. I wish somebody would trade me, or I didn't want to be here anyway. Now you quiet? Like Russell Westbrook, you're quiet now? Hilarious. So
I look at it like this, TP. I look at it like this. It's the D'Antoni effect. I think it's the fact that he's not a ball-dominant player in that offense. Harden dominates the ball, and you can't ask Russell Westbrook. And serious, back me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You just can't ask Westbrook to be a spot-up shooter and sit in the corner and shoot threes. And he just doesn't fit in D'Antoni's offense if he's not ball dominant. If he doesn't dominate the ball, Harden dominates the ball. So serious. I mean, what do you think? Obviously, it didn't work. And they might try to get out of the contract. What's going to happen? What do you think?
In all seriousness, gentlemen, like me, taking jabs at TP, I can do that all day, every day. But in all seriousness, I honestly think that they're going to find a way to make it work, because in order to unload Russell Westbrook, man, you really have to have somebody take on that contract. And you really have to put him in a position where he is going to be the guy. Like, he was never going to be the guy in Houston. He was the guy in OKC, and they didn't make it out the second round, out of the first round. Hell, they make it out the first round with him in the ship. You know what I'm saying? KD was there, and they made it as far as they did, but they never made it out. You know what I'm saying? He has to set stuff. He has to get his triple-doubles, and that puts butts in seats and gets him accepted to all-star teams and this and the third. And I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but you can't have him in Houston. You can't have him, be a Robin to somebody else's Batman. It's never going to work, especially on a jump shooting team. So the system was never geared for him to be successful. He went on a run and, did some things and, kept floating hard and was going through a struggle and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, when it came playoff time and when it came time to actually play ball, we were playing 5-on-4, sometimes 3-on-5 versus the LA Lakers because they wouldn't shoot. They gave that man the Luke Dort treatment in game 2 through 5 because the brother wasn't shooting well. So ultimately, I think we try to make it work due to the fact that we're not going to find any really trade partners to move him. So, he and Harden are going to have to work out and figure it out. And I honestly believe that whichever coach we get to come in there, we still don't have a coach at this point. And D'Antoni's interviewing with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing rumors that, possibly Sam Cassell and a couple other, names are sniffing around to become the new Rockets head coach. Whomever we get to come in there and coach is going to really tell me a lot of what they want to do with Russ as well as Harden. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be the first domino that has to fall in order for us as fans, to get an understanding as to what's going on next.
I agree.
Finish up, Barry. You say what you're going to say?
No, go ahead, TP. Go ahead.
No. I was going to be quick, so you can say what you were going to say. Do what you got to do.
No, I was just going to say I agree. I think Sirius is spot on. I think it doesn't work, but they have to make it work because I don't know who else is going to take that contract. And I was definitely going to flip it to Sirius's point about the coaching carousel that we're about to see. Doc Rivers out of L.A., out of the Clippers.
Wow.
He's got an interview with the Sixers. D'Antoni's out of Houston. He's got an interview with the Sixers and I think a couple other teams. And Ty Lue is in the mix. TP, if you had a point on this, definitely chime in. If not, I definitely want to get your opinion on Doc Rivers. And I definitely have an opinion too. And then where do you think he's going to end up? Because I have, I have a perfect idea of where he should end up. But, TP, what do you think about Doc out?
I will entertain the question. So what I was going to say is he said that I was up here lying, and he said Russ's name again just now pertaining to me. He just said so. He said I was lying. He just got out of church lying. So y'all with me here, and this is being recorded. We can pull this up any given time we ready, right? But now back to these dishes, right? Because Barry just hold on.
Before you change the plate, let me just be clear. Everybody knows that I'm the villain and TP's the hero. But you see, TP's a bully. He likes to be the villain. He wants to save the day, but he's really a villain. I'm the one that's here to save you. I'm the one that's here for the people, okay? Just be clear, people. Go ahead, TP. Go ahead.
Listen, I've had serious. Listen, this is the crazy part about this Sports City, right? You got Barry trying to cook up some bad stew, right? I've had Sirius on air tell me that he's a hater. So he goes hand in hand with you. He's up here telling you that he isn't lying and he got caught lying 2 minutes ago. And you say you here for the people? You here for the people? That's like when Hulk. Listen. That's when Hulk Hogan went NWO. I know you remember that, Barry. You know what I'm saying? When Hulk Hogan went NWO, everybody was like, "Yo, how? How did he do that? Like, he can't be a bad guy. We love Hulk Hogan." Into serious things. That's what just happened. Now, so back to the lecture at hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now that's what blew my mind. Like of course I had to deal with the Twins talk, and Sirius, I gotta just go at him because he tried to come to me, so I gotta get him. You know what I'm saying? But with them firing Doc Rivers, the first year he gets 2 All-Stars. I won't call it's supposed to be. Give me 10 seconds to get at this dude. I will never call Paul George a superstar until he gonna have to give me I don't even know what he's gonna have to give me, because he can have those 30-point games. It can happen. He's a star. I'll give him a star or all-star, but there's no way on God's green earth that I'm giving him that. So I'll say all-stars. He got them two to come here to try to join forces with him because he had the championship caliber. It did not work. Something was wrong. They tried to do load management. They thought they had the league figured out. It didn't work. Y'all got rid of Doc right now at the gate. Who y'all going to bring there to work with these dudes? Like, I really feel like the coach that come there probably, if they're not successful, they'll all leave. Paul will probably go. One of them will stay home because they both are L.A. area boys, being Paul George and Kawhi. One of them will stay. One of them will go. And they'll try to work around building around whomever. I think they will build around Kawhi because Kawhi has championship caliber, and he knows what it takes. Paul George has not been to anywhere past a conference final, whether it was Eastern Conference Final or Western Conference Final. So that's how I feel that should happen. But they got rid of Doc right now. Doc probably has a couple of doors open for him, but I really feel like the thing that got him sold was that Celtics team where they were loaded. Like, he's going to need that type of team to impress him because when he was in Orlando, he was a 500 coach. He wasn't doing that with T-Mac and, Grant Hill was injured, but he wasn't doing that with them. But I don't know. I want to see how y'all feel about that, especially Doc Rivers firing. It's unfortunate.
Listen, serious. I'm gonna kick this to you, but I got to get these points out. So, okay, about Paul George, 100% agree with you. I mean, the guy is a star. He ain't a superstar. Let's take it back, okay? This is the guy that wanted to leave Oklahoma. Well, no, it was Indiana first, and then he wanted to go home. Everybody knew he wanted to go home to L.A. He had the opportunity to play with LeBron. He didn't want to play with LeBron. He wanted to play on the other side with the other team, and Kawhi got his way. Kawhi wanted to bring George with him to Toronto, but they wanted to go to L.A., so George goes to L.A., and they go to the other team. What's the problem with that? George he doesn't have that mentality, that hunger, alpha dog mentality. He doesn't have the temperament to play with LeBron because LeBron's going to get on you if you ain't playing right. He didn't want that, but he wanted to be home. So he took the easy way out and went to L.A. with the Clippers. Now, Doc is the most successful coach in L.A. Clipper history. Went to the playoffs, didn't get to the conference finals. That's one problem. But he had 1 year, a crazy year with COVID and everything, to put it together with the load management and everything, to get this team to where it wasn't remarkable, but they underachieved. They should have went to the conference finals. It was conference finals or NBA finals or bust. But, COVID played a little bit of a role in that. When they came back from COVID, it looked like that whole team was not interested. Okay? They did not play well in the bubble. They didn't play good basketball. Fine. But to not give Doc a chance to come back next year on a full season to fix it, that's a problem for me. This is the guy that weathered the storm with Don Sterling, okay? This is the guy during the COVID crisis and with the Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff was one of the leading voices against your sitting president, was a leader, and you just got rid of him, and you basically had Kawhi and Paul George co-sign it because if they said they wanted to keep him, he's the coach. So they definitely had to have their hand in this to get Doc Rivers to be the fall guy. To be the fall guy, to be the scapegoat, okay? So I don't like that part. And Kawhi and George are not killers. They don't have that mentality. Like, they're too. I don't know what it is. Both of them did not want to play with LeBron. They wanted to do the easy way, and it didn't work. Okay, so listen. Doc is going to be all right. I wholeheartedly believe he's going to be the next Sixers coach. I think they're talking to him now. They're in discussions. I think he's going to be the next Sixers coach. But I got to listen, Kawhi Leonard has to be held accountable with the load management, the poor play in the bubble, and this team not succeeding and hitting the goals that were set for them when they basically mortgaged their future, draft picks, everything to bring these two guys in here. If you're going to talk about, tell LeBron to guard me, blah, 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 and you're the guy that won the championship in Toronto, and then you fell on your face in the bubble this year, you got to be held accountable. And in Doc Rivers firing, I guess it was a mutual thing, but his firing, Kawhi Leonard. And that's all I got to say about that. So, Sirius, you take it away.
Gentlemen, I hear what both of you guys are saying, right? And I agree with some of it. And I don't agree with the other half. And, let me explain where my head's at. You know, for starters, the writing was on the wall for Doc Rivers to lose his job as the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. This is not the first time this man, with all the talent in the world, has blown a 3-1 lead and failed to make it out of a round. Okay? I take you back to when Houston came back from 3-1 and beat Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and company, and they blew a 3-1 lead. You know what I'm saying? So this is not the first time that Doc Rivers has had an assortment of riches at his disposal and failed to get the job done. Now, I will say this. You know, the load management and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George taking the blame, I think it falls on them as much as it should fall on Doc. However, you know, at the end of the day, this is the coaching business. You know what I'm saying? You have to win ball games. You know what I'm saying? And in the biggest of moments, Doc has routinely came up short. You know what I'm saying? He's getting these interviews and he's getting these job offers and he's getting these opportunities based on his name recognition and name recognition alone. And he has yet to accomplish the ultimate prize outside of that one time when he had the chips fall where they may and he had KG and Ray Allen in them. Outside of that particular year, what honestly has Doc Rivers done in the postseason? You know what I'm saying? You bring in Kawhi Leonard, you know what I'm saying? You bring in Paul George, and Barry said they took the easy way out. I'm not too sure that was the easy way out because if you want to get technical, there are people playing in the NBA Finals right now on the LeBron James-led squad who ain't done a damn thing but sit there and catch balls and layup lines. You know what I'm saying? So the easy way, you know, even though LeBron James would have gotten his behind, would it be to saddle up your wagon to LeBron James and Anthony Davis and company and get you, you know, an easy way to the NBA Finals. That's the way you want to, quote-unquote, load manage because, you know, LeBron James is going to do his thing. Anthony Davis is going to do his thing. That means you can just sit back and just chill, you know, hit jump shots, Paul George. You know what I'm saying? Guard some people for Kawhi Leonard. Not that Kawhi Leonard's no scrub, but you kind of get what I'm saying. So, honestly, gentlemen, I'm shocked that it took as long as it did for Ballmer to pull the trigger on firing of Doc Rivers. I'm shocked it took that long. I thought it was time for it to happen. I wish him the best of luck, you know, wherever he may go. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I don't think Philadelphia is the best place for him. Because, once again, you have first of all, I'm going to say this, and I said this on my social media platform a long time ago, Joel Embiid is not a superstar. He's a star. He's not a superstar. He's not going to carry a team anywhere. He's going to be, you know, the Batman. He's going to need some other pieces to fall in place. Ben Simmons, as good as he is not a legit superstar in my opinion. He's a role player. You know what I'm saying? He's handicapped. He can't hit a jump shot. You make the man shoot. You have to cross the floor. You have to hit free throws. You have to cross the floor. How can you be a superstar and you can't help your team get to the next level? So I don't think Philadelphia is a great place for him. If I'm Doc Rivers, this is what I honestly do. I take a year off. I hone my craft. I see what other jobs are available because as it sits right now, I don't think a job is available that you will currently walk into and have better success that you had from your previous one. Let me tell you something. If you can't get it done with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and that lineup, what makes you think you're going to walk into Philly or walk into Houston or walk into another team and do it with less time?
He didn't have a big or front court defense at all. At all. Yeah. That's what they got exposed. They couldn't deal with Jokic at all. Their big that they had in the game would be JaMychal Green. Like, they had Zubac in the game with Bullard. Like, behind Zubac, it was nobody. The worst part is I look at the GM. Like, you had Joakim Noah sitting there and act like that was the thing. Joakim Noah is a shell of himself. He's just a 6'11" guy that had it at one point. Like, he's been passing around the league so many different times. They were trying to small ball their way, and it was looking, honestly, like they were street balling because there was a whole bunch of guards on the floor. Like, the Morris twin, I give him.
That's my point, though. That's exactly my point, Ty. Like, Doc Rivers had it. And again, he ran the Joker. I get it. I mean, you want to stay on whatever it may be. I get it.
Is it me? Hello?
Yeah, no, I think we lost Sirius. When he comes back, get him back when we get him back. But listen, I just think Doc deserved another year before
right. That's what I'm saying.
You turn the page. That's all I'm saying. Listen, I agree with Sirius. I think he has sort of underachieved in LA, but I mean, what are we comparing that to in LA Clipper history? Okay, so I think he deserved another year with these pieces to make it work. But listen, George took. I just believe George took the easy way out. I don't think Kawhi did. I think George did. But they didn't want to play with LeBron. LeBron is a different animal. He's an entity of himself, and he's hard on you if you're not playing well. I mean, when things are going well, things are going well. But we remember that pose when he's looking at J.R. Smith in the playoffs. So I mean, that's the guy that that you want. But listen, I think Ty Lue is the guy that they're going to bring in to be the head coach in LA. He's got the pedigree. He's got the ear of the players. He's got their respect, and he's got the ring to go with it. So I think he is the logical fit. He's already on the staff, so I don't see why you wouldn't bring him in and try to get him to figure out. I thought Lue should have gone to the Nets, but they went with Steve Nash instead. But listen, I think he's the guy. I don't know what you think, TP.
Yeah, could Tyronn Lue know the system, or Sam Cassell? Sam Cassell would be another name that knows the system. He's been alongside Doc. They're making a lot of these black coaches wait till I don't know what meets their qualifications. And the way the league is blackballing Mark Jackson, y'all need to give him a ton of credit because he was one of the anchors to put that team together in Golden State. So I don't know what they want to see. I don't know what they want to see. They brought Steve Nash in, who he has no inkling of head coaching, but there's a lot of availability for coaching in this league right now. And Billy Donovan went and filled the void up there in Chicago, but you have Houston, you have OKC, you have Philly, you have the Clippers. There's at least 4 jobs right now floating around for the names that we're mentioning. But right now, in the new form that they're making for the Clippers, I think it probably would be Tyronn Lue or Sam Cassell because they know the system is not too much they have to work on other than trying to get a big end to fill in the system. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, another Cookout. Man, we got to talk about why Mark Jackson isn't coaching in this league right now. He can't even get a call. And Steve Nash, listen, he has no coaching experience. So do I think he can do the job? I think there's a good chance. He's a smart player. He always was. But I mean, why does he get a call over some of these guys like Cassell, who's kind of paid his due, Ty Lue, who's been, an assistant but been a head coach at the highest level and won a championship? Why can't he get a call? So, but I mean, listen, we got to talk the Heat and the Lakers real quick. We don't have a lot of time, but I mean, I think the Lakers will probably take this series probably in 6. I think it'll be a fool's gold to think the Heat can beat LeBron James 4 times in 7 games. But don't think that the Heat can't, they can't give them a series because they got players, they got a squad that can defend. They got shooters and they got some size too. And Jimmy Butler is an alpha. He can get it done. So, but I think LeBron and AD, especially AD, who's averaging almost 30 points in the playoffs. I mean, I think he's too much to handle.
I really want the Heat to have a shot because I don't want this to be, LeBron is getting close to Kobe and Tim Duncan and Jordan, dog. Yeah. Like, let me clear the air, right? Like, I love LeBron and his story when he first got to the league and was running with Cleveland. But then once he got to Miami, he went up against OKC. I had to pick a side. But every team that he went to after the first stint with Cleveland, it's like he had to have pieces around him. Like, it wasn't like you see your players of yesteryear begging for people to come to them. This is a whole new era of basketball that I'm seeing, that they want to join teams. Like, if they see somebody on another team that's struggling, hey, come down here with me and let's do it in L.A. or let's do it in Texas. Let's do it in Florida. Like, let's make the powerhouse there. Like, this is a whole different era. I give respect to Golden State because that's the way they drafted. They didn't draft accordingly to what people like. They did it how they did it, you know? So, like, of course, LeBron is going to get his fourth championship. One, it's different because of the bubble. There's no fans around. Two, you got, like, players like Scottie Pippen are stepping up and say they don't even like the bubble, but there's nothing we can do due to the fact of the pandemic. But three, there's nobody built. Like, they have a 7'3" center that they choose to start or not, sitting on the bench or play. They had a 6'11" defensive player of the year and rebounder of the year come in and shut Jokic down and shut him down for the whole season. And then three, don't forget, Sports City, if the Lakers win the championship, DeMarcus Cousins will get a ring. DeMarcus Cousins was on this roster. He will get a ring being with the Lakers this season. So it's like they had all of the bigs that you could think of that were probably potential players to build around on this Lakers team or alongside with LeBron James. All you have to do is be a shooting guard, small forward, or point guard that can hit a jump shot because all the attention is coming to the 3, 4, and 5 spots. It's too easy of a game for the Lakers. Like, I'll give them credit that they got to a final, but it's too easy for LeBron to win right now. So a lot of people trying to put him on this pedestal. He's awesome. He's great, and I will not call him king. I'll give him every other accolade that there is possible. But before we start putting him in that conversation with Timmy, Kobe, Mike, like these are one-name wonders, man. No, he's really going to have to get his 6th championship now. Like, now I'm going to have to look at it differently before I look at LeBron getting the credit of winning a championship.
I mean, I don't think it's the number of championships that's going to make him great. I mean, I look at it, he's got a losing record in the finals, and that counts for something.
Yeah.
Listen, you dragged a crappy team in 2007 to the finals. Okay, I'll give you that. But you lost to Miami. I mean, not Miami. You lost to Dallas, and you lost you lost to the Spurs
twice. He lost to Spurs twice.
And you lost to Golden State. You know what I mean? So that counts for something in my book. So he's never going to – listen, LeBron is on Mount Rushmore. And, you know, I had this discussion with my family, my sister, my nephew. They're younger. My sister's older, but my nephew's younger. He's, 18, 19. And it's like they always say, he's the greatest. He's the GOAT. No, he's your GOAT, okay? But he's not the GOAT. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. There's nobody like Michael Jordan. At his peak, nobody could touch Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan stopped people from getting rings. LeBron has never stopped anybody from getting a ring, okay? If anything, he's helped them get a ring, okay? So, either bringing him on his team or losing in the finals. So, I mean, Michael Jordan single-handedly stopped. The list goes on and on. Miller, Barkley, Ewing, these guys from stopping to get a ring. And it's like you weren't getting a ring until I leave, okay? Michael Jordan is in a class of his own, but it's not disrespect to say LeBron is on the Mount Rushmore. He's a top 3 player. He will finish number 2 all time in this game in my book. I think he's number 3 right now behind Kareem. You can flip-flop those two. It's Jordan, it's Kareem, and LeBron, top 3. That's not disrespect. LeBron is a great player. He's one of the greatest of all time, but he's not going to be Jordan in my book. And you could bring the rings up. But I look at this guy for 10 years was an MVP, a defensive first team. He's the only player to win MVP and all defensive player of the year in the same year. I mean, this guy and finals MVP, never lost the finals, never went to a 7th game. There's no comparison in my eye. They're close. They could be close if you want to call them close, but nobody is going to eclipse Michael Jordan. And you take the impact off of the court of what Michael Jordan. He's a businessman. Okay, he like Jay-Z, right? I'm a businessman, right? Like this guy created. Nike wasn't a brand. Nike was a track shoe in Seattle before Michael signed there, and they're one of the biggest companies in the world. That's because the Jordan effect is real. Before there was internet, there was Michael Jordan, okay? Like, there's no comparison. And Kobe and Duncan are great players in their right. They're top. I think Kobe sneaks into the top 10 for me. Duncan is definitely top 10. But, I mean, I don't think they're going to be – what?
You said Kobe sneaks into the top 10?
I think he was out on the cusp. I think he was 11, 12. I think now with perspective, I think he's in the top 10. I don't see him top 5. I think he's in the 8 to 10 range. I think and I think Duncan's in the 6 to 8 range. I think he's around there. I don't want to rank the players. It's hard to listen. The top 5 is always going to be solidified. It's Jordan, LeBron, and the 3 centers. Okay, it's Kareem, Wilt, and Russell, and then you have Bird and Magic, and now you have Duncan and Kobe, and I always have the Big O. I don't know why people don't give the Big O, his due. I think I always had Dr. J in the top 10. I think Kobe moves Dr. J out of the top 10. That's just my opinion.
Wow, this is stunning.
What did I come back into?
That the Lakers are 1 and 6 and LeBron James is not the GOAT. That's what you came back to.
Dear God. I need to go back.
Don't call us blasphemy. Speak your clout. I said, speak your clout. Go ahead.
I don't know what to say to that right now. Like, listen, gentlemen. Like, first of all, Jordan's place, like you alluded to, is forever solidified. But we people on talk shows and this, that, and the third lose their damn cookies when you give LeBron credit for his accolades, almost as if you're disrespecting Michael or vice versa.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, but both men are great at what they did for the game of basketball. I would love to see what LeBron did in Jordan era, and I like to see what Michael does in LeBron's era. But for the simple fact that that's never going to be done unless you're playing on PlayStation or whatever. It is what it is. But to have Kobe that far down, wow. Not even mention Olajuwon either. What?
No, it's tough. It's tough, serious. I think Olajuwon is like in the 10 to 15 range. It's tough. It's hard to rank these guys. It really is.
I guess
hold on. Let me do it like this, right? So I have the ESPN top 10 list, right? Because I put that up a couple of days ago.
Complete bullshit.
But you see the list, right? So I've been getting
and I got to preface it. If my mother is listening, I'm sorry for the language.
right. Okay, because we live here, Barry. We in Connecticut too. Look, we in Connecticut too. So ESPN has to share the state with us, right? So their top 10 goes, and I'm going to show you how I switch it up. Mike, LeBron, Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic, Wilt, Larry, Timmy, Kobe, Shaquille. Shaq is 10.
That's where they lose me.
Right. Shaq is 10. Kobe is 9. That's why I say you say Kobe sneaks in the top 10. That's why I'm like, what? And so here we go, right? So this is where I switch it up. I'm like, there's no way that I can have Kareem looking at the back of LeBron. LeBron is only in this thing to chase Kareem. He's not catching Mike, right? Unless he really sits up here and gets this ring this year and gets 2 more rings, and then he ties Mike up with 6. Like, okay, then you're ring chasing, right? He is chasing Kareem for that point total, which I think he's like 2,000 points away from him, which is reachable within this next coming season. I think LeBron can put up to 2,000 and catch Kareem. Kareem, if you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's resume, you will go to sleep. You will go to sleep reading everything that Kareem has done. Kareem is the only person I can think that could threaten Mike or pull Mike off of that, right? Then I look to Kareem's shoulder. I wouldn't even put the person behind Kareem. I think they go together on his Mount Rushmore, and that's Magic Johnson. Because before he met Magic, he had 1 championship in Milwaukee. He got alongside Magic, and they did that run all in the 80s. We didn't know nothing else but purple and gold, and Mike was trying to win us over, but Mike had to get to the 90s. That was basically Magic and Kareem and a little bit of Larry Bird and McHale and Parrish. There's no way that I'm looking at Magic played basketball for 11 years. Be forced to retire because of his sickness, and he played in 9 NBA Finals in 11 years. And won an NBA Final his rookie season because Kareem got hurt and he played center. Like, there's no way that I could watch LeBron do that. But you know, Magic, being a humble NBA guy, is because Magic in person is a different person than what you see on TV. He's different. But there's no way that I'm watching Kareem and Magic look behind LeBron's legacy right now. LeBron is awesome. He's done a great amount of work in his, 17-year career. Magic played less years and did more damage. You know what I'm saying? And then Bill Russell, 11 championships. He didn't even have enough fingers. Like, and I get it. It was like, well, it was just the Lakers and the Celtics. But then he was the only player that played and coached at the same time. That's how good he was. Like, and these guys played defense. Like, they played two sides of the ball. Like, LeBron don't play D. If you quicker than him, you're going to get by him. Like, there's players that run at speed of him that he can lock up. Like, he did that to Dame Lillard. He did that in the previous series as well. Like, he's able to get in some of these players' heads. But other than that, if you're quicker than him, he's going to let you go unless somebody else pick him up. So, and tell him to D Kevin Durant. Like, you're scared of Durant now. So, we'll see how that happens. But at least I have.
But that's where that list kind of loses me, TP. That's where that list loses me because I have Olajuwon ahead of Shaq. Like, I don't, like, I don't even have Shaq.
What?
I do. I honestly do. I really do. I really think people sleep on how good. And it's even the college numbers that Olajuwon has, which doesn't count in the NBA. But I mean, I just that's just me. I respect Shaq. I think Shaq was a great player. I think his down years kind of outweigh. Like, they outweigh it for me. Like, he really had some lean years towards his end of his career when he was dominant. Like, there was nobody as good as he was. Like, there's no question about it. But, like, Olajuwon had some peak years too, where he was, pretty darn good. But listen, I agree with you. I think Magic, 9 finals appearances in 11 years is unquestioned. I think when you look at Kareem's numbers, they're scary, like how good his numbers are in 19 All-Star appearances, okay? And those weren't cheap ones, okay? Six rings, 15 all-time NBA, all NBA teams.
You're going to get tired. You're going to get tired reading that. You're going to get tired reading that.
Exactly. You get tired reading that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And, it's a fun debate to have, but, But to take it back to this year's finals, though, I don't think winning or losing this year's finals moves LeBron up or down the list. I think he is where he is. I'll have him 3. I think he'll finish 2. I don't think this ring will kind of change that in my mind, but he'll never eclipse Jordan. I mean, Jordan had 10-year run where he was the best player. I mean, the worst thing that could have happened to the NBA was Jordan not making that All-Star team, a high school team. Because after that, this guy was a beast. I mean, in college, he was unbelievable, one of the best players in college. Basically, Dean Smith had to push him out the door to get him to the pros. And the minute he stepped on the court as a Bull, he was the best player on that team, and he was one of the best players in the league. It took a Herculean effort from the Pistons to not let him get rings. Because when he dragged that team to the conference finals, I mean, they were already saying he was on his way, and it's a fun debate though. I mean, but at the end of the day, I just think go ahead, TP.
No. Here's where I look at it. What you say with Hakeem, because look, I love Hakeem Olajuwon. I sit there and fake like I don't love the dude, right? Yeah. I want to say like from what is it, like 97? 97 was the end of his greatness, because then that's when he started to like he showed his age. I don't want to say like he broke down, but he started to show his age. But like when he was with Ralph Sampson in the 80s, when they made that run and they lost to Boston, so that's what, like 86 up to like 97, that 11-year run, that's where you had to worry about Hakeem. But that 2-year stint of 94 and 95 when he got the championship, that's when everybody took note on what Hakeem could do. Us as the purists of watching the sport, I give Hakeem credit. But Hakeem knocked Shaq off, 95, right? At that point in time, in 95, Shaquille was only in the league for 3 years. That was his third year in the league, and he went to an NBA final. Like, yes, he got swept, and yes, the narrative of him and Penny didn't 3D didn't get along. I get it. But once he tasted the finals and got there again, I didn't look. All right, and Sports City, I'm going to admit this on air, and I'm sorry, I may start a whole nother fight, right? My favorite sport is basketball, right? I love hoop, right? So when Shaq was dominated from 2000, 2001, 2002, I didn't want to watch basketball no more. Because couldn't nobody stop that. Nobody couldn't do nothing.
I hated those Lakers teams. I hated those Lakers teams, man.
I want y'all to close your eyes. There was a picture in the Sports Illustrated when Shaq was dunking on Mutombo. It was like his left hand was on the Mutombo face, and the right hand he was just dunking on him hard. And that was every game in that final. I felt bad. Ty McCullough couldn't D him. Matt Geiger couldn't D him. The Dikembe Mutombo was a poster. Like nobody. Rick Smith, nobody in Indiana. The New Jersey Police, all five of them people tried to go in the paint to stop Shaq. Shaq was killing people. There is no way that I'm looking. Hakeem did his thing. I get it. I get it. Hakeem was a monster. But Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal is a whole nother dude. That's a dude right there. Like, I don't even know how they have him 10. Like, I'm looking at the top 10. He's 10, right? Like, and I got to move Tim up. Like, I want to move Tim and Shaq in front of Wilt. I started an argument right there. Tim and Shaq in front of him. Yeah. What you going to put Wilt because he scored 100?
No.
Wait, hold on. Are you going to put Wilt there because he scored 100?
No, not because he scored 100, because he was the most dominant player of his era. You got to put.
He was the only 7-footer in the league. He was the only dude 7 feet. He was the thing on
Bill Russell there. Come on now.
Bill Russell is 6'9". Barry. Wait, Barry. Bill Russell is 6'9". Like he was taller than
Bill Russell. Had 11 chips in 13 years. There's a reason for that.
The Celtics they was beating people up. Like you walked into the garden, they had Italian and Irish dudes ready to beat you up outside the garden. Win the game if you want to. You have a broken leg. Like that's what the 50s and 60s.
Wilt was a force unto himself, and the guy was amazing. And this is why I have Shaq behind Hakeem Olajuwon. It's not because of the offense, because Shaq was one of the most dominant players, if not the most dominant player of his era of all time, maybe.
I've ever seen.
Defense. The defense. Olajuwon is the leader, NBA record in blocks, almost 4,000 blocks. Shaq's nowhere near as close as Hakeem Olajuwon is on the defensive end. I mean, and that's just a fact. So that's why I have Olajuwon ahead of Shaq.
Right, no, and I give you that. He has the block total, right? But Shaq dominated the paint. A lot of people wouldn't come in the paint because they saw Shaq in the paint. You can't just say Shaq wasn't playing defense. A lot of dudes stopped when they seen a 7'3" dude.
He's 7'2". Like, what you expect, bro?
Right.
You're not right to life.
Right. So he's defending the paint. You can't just take it away because Hakeem got more blocks than him. Hakeem is his footwork and how he turned people off of the jump. Excellent, great. Like I give him that. Dudes was like I even remember when Vince Carter came to the lane. Vince was dunking on anything moving. Like he came and saw Shaq and just stopped. Like you gotta give him credit. He's playing D. Like he's playing D. And don't forget, this is how I look at a lot of the greats. And I'm mad they don't have Iverson up here either. But if they make a rule for you, you're great. Period. Like Iverson's crossover was called palming. He wasn't carrying the ball. But he was causing dudes up so bad with that yank up, they was like, no, you can't carry that ball outside your body. Like that's an illegal crossover. They made it an illegal crossover. Yeah. Shaq had the defensive 3-second rule. You cannot keep people in the paint trying to load up on Shaq down there. You couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I feel like they crippled us. They crippled us watching basketball. Who was going to stop Shaq right there? Who?
No, I mean, you talk about defending the paint. Shaq was the paint.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
I just. Now go ahead, TV. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying okay. So this is where I'm. Look, it's funny because Wilt has a hell of a resume too. This is the bad part because Wilt has a resume too, and in one season he was averaging like 50-something points in a game and 20 rebounds. Like, but that's what I'm like. There was nobody to jump with him or be the height. Like, it was dudes in that locker room probably crying because they couldn't do nothing with the dude. You know what I'm saying? So That right? Picture you out there trying to do it on your team, and you 6'3". You up here, you dealing with Will, like what? Like, come on, like that's how I feel about the Will situation. I won't take it away from him because Will, in that run when he was with the Lakers with Gail Goodrich, and that's a friend of mine. I know Gail and Jerry West, and they had their runs, but they were only able to get a championship. He was only able to get one, like. You got gaudy stats, but one championship, that's why I'm looking at it.
Not two.
Tim was able to get 5. Listen. You sure? I'll look at it. I'll check it out. Okay. Tim was able to get 5 on the Spurs when the Spurs were irrelevant. His name is what's keeping the Spurs relevant. Like, and we look at the Spurs and we look at, like, David Robinson or Iceman. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't get it unless Duncan was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Duncan came in the 90s. And brought that power that David Robinson needed and got David Robinson to so he can retire happily, and he still was able to bring 3 more. Duncan won championships in 3 decades, right? He won one in the 90s, one in the 2000s, one in 2002. Like this dude has done something that people have never done before. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that I'm watching Duncan be 8 on this list right now. 8 behind and behind Bird.
That's
Bird.
That's where I have him, though.
Wait, I'll put that off right now. Bird or Duncan?
Bird.
Whoa.
It's close. It's close. And listen, I listen. You know I love Tim Duncan.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I love Tim Duncan. You know I love Tim Duncan, right?
No, you don't. No, you don't say that. No, you don't say that. You do not love Tim Duncan.
Listen, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've always defended Tim Duncan. I think he's a great player.
I gotta get somebody. Wait. I gotta get somebody in here. So call in into the Cookout. We got Nas in the building. Nas, welcome to the Cookout. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm in traffic though, man. I was trying to catch y'all a little bit ago. What's good, man?
I'm sorry. We got a hot one at the grill right now. Okay, so I want to hear your top 10, right? Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Russell, Magic, Wilt, Larry, Tim, Kobe, Shaq. Do you like that top 10?
I mean, yeah, I ain't really got a problem with it. I guess order will be like a preference thing. And at that point, man, you just kind of, grasping at straws. It's really, I don't think there's a wrong or right, man. And you know me, man. That's why I always say the table. You don't do the top 10. You just do the big table. Who can sit at the table and who can't? You got the Hall of Fame. Then you got the dudes that sit at the adult table. You know what I mean? That's how I roll. So that way you don't get in the ranking. You just get into the real of sitting down. Everybody else is sitting outside. Like Clyde can't sit down. He can come and wave high. He's in the Hall of Fame, but he can't come at that room. He can't sit at that table. You feel me?
I didn't put Clyde in this conversation. Don't do that. Don't do that. I didn't put Clyde.
No. It's not a knock on him. I'm just trying to say, it's levels to this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. And I want to ask you, wait, because you were the one that took Larry over Kobe, and this is here.
Yeah.
ESPN went with you. But look, Tim, Duncan or Bird? You taking Bird or Duncan?
Duncan.
Me? Oh.
Okay. So Nas took Duncan. Serious, who you like, Duncan or Bird?
Ooh. I honestly, man, I love Timmy D. Man. But I'm going Larry Legend with that one, babe. I'm going to go Larry Legend with that one.
I just don't get it. I don't know, like, and this is what bothers me because Sirius is on air, right? And I'll admit it while he's on air, right? Duncan came up in an era where that's where I was coming up, right? And I played the power forward, right? So he was in the era of the power forwards where there were multiple names that I love. My favorite, this is why I don't like to admit it while he's on the air, is Sheed. If you don't know what I'm saying, Sheed. Rasheed Wallace, like she did some crazy stuff, and Duncan was killing him, Webb, LJ, all of the power forwards. It was no power forward in the league. Everybody brought their A game every single night. It was no game that he had a day off, and Tim Duncan was shattering these dudes. KG only got 1 ring. Like she only got 1 ring. LJ don't got no ring. Like you got to think about the name that he was just using his bank shot and couldn't nobody deal with Mr. Fundamental? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Look, I don't know. I don't know. And I love cheese. Like, period. I want 30 on purpose. Like, on purpose. Like, I don't know.
This is why I have Bird ahead of Duncan. And listen, you give me crap. You give the villain crap because you know you love tweaking me. But listen, I love Tim Duncan. He's one of my favorite players. But Larry Bird, 3 straight MVPs. Okay, that 3-year run from what I think it was 84 to 86. He was the baddest dude in the league until Jordan came along and took that spot from him. Like, the back injury robbed us of how really good Larry Bird was. I don't think people appreciate how good a player he was. And he wasn't just a scorer. He was a passer and a rebounder. He was – people just don't really – I think younger guys didn't really see him, and I saw him at the tail end when his back was really messed up. But, like, you don't understand how good he was at his prime. Like, it wasn't a long prime, and Tim Duncan he has 2 MVPs, and, you know, he had a stretch where he was probably one of the better players in the league until LeBron came into his own and Kobe really took off. But, like, I don't look at Tim Duncan's prime years and Bird's prime years as equal. I think Bird's prime years were better than Tim Duncan's. That's why I have him ahead. And it's not by much, but that's why.
Listen, if Ray Allen didn't hit the corner shot in South Beach, Tim Duncan would have 6 rings. He would have
and LeBron would be lower on
listen. Right, and I'm glad you threw LeBron in there. On a small market team in Texas, the San Antonio Spurs are a small market team, and he was able to keep them relevant from when he came to the league, 97, and won a championship 2 years later. 99 is when they won it, and I forgot who they played in 99. Who did they play in 99?
The Knicks. Thanks for reminding me.
Okay, it won. So they played the Knicks in 99.
Jerk. What jerk.
Everything that happens, you know, figures that it happens that way. You know, something happens for a reason. But, you know, that's either. But I don't know. Like, in Kobe, and this is an argument that I have with Nas. Me and Nas are going at it with Kobe and Larry Bird, and he took Bird over Kobe. And it's like a lot of people, I know, and a lot of people, and this is what he was arguing, don't let him passing, like, cloud us, you know what I'm saying? And I agree. And maybe look at it differently because I couldn't stand him. I can't, like the athlete, the player for the Lakers, like, that was my despise toward him. I didn't like Kobe because of his swagger. You know, he was riding Shaq and they was winning championships. I was like, yo, you want Shaq back. Like, but it was like, and Washington have to grind to get back in there, and then he got his 7-footers back. And it was like a lot of these players needed their help, but it was still him dumping out regardless. Like, he still had the ratchet on him. Like, he still was able to give people chops, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I had to look at it. And it was like while his body was still breaking down, he was still able to do this. Like, and then the way he walked out the building putting up 60. Like, and I don't want to use that as, a relying factor, but just knowing that he could still go out there and give it to you while he's about to leave and won the game, like, this is an interesting debate. I love it.
Listen, I can't look at that last game. I mean, they gave him like 50 shots to get 60 points. And then, listen, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. That was a crushing day. I remember that Sunday like it was yesterday. That was a crushing day when I woke up and found out he was gone. But one MVP. That's it. That's why I have Larry Bird ahead of Kobe Bryant. He only won one MVP. So it's hard to look at. You agree with it? I do, and it's not a fair ranking, and I'm not here to say that my ranking's right and everybody's wrong, but my opinion is Larry Bird had dominant years. Kobe Bryant had dominant years, but one MVP to show for it. I mean, is that the voting? Probably. Should he have gotten more? I think so. But it is what it is. So that's all. That's the only reason. Larry Bird, I just don't think people until LeBron came along, Larry Bird was the greatest small forward of all time, and people just don't really put enough respect on his name. Like they don't put enough respect on Oscar Robinson's name either. So that's just that's where I sit with it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to throw in there, Naj or Sirius? Either one of you.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to with the table thing, man. Like, no matter what, when you start really inspecting, 10 is never enough. It feels limiting, and then it feels like you're taking out deserving people. But when you just do the table thing and just start nailing it down, like who's the best of the best, and kind of get where you're trying to get, I think you get way better groupings of the best to ever do it. So, yeah, Oscar's name should be mentioned in all this, always. Jerry West's name should be mentioned in all of this, always. So all of those guys should be up there. But, man, look, love Kobe. Kobe's, one of those guys. But, yeah, we do have to say him passing early has changed how people talk about him and what they think about him. And don't be so swift with the Larry Bird thing, because there's a young man named Kevin Durant who's about to play the back half of his career. And when we talk about small forward, he's going to have something to say about it, too.
Let's hope he has a good back half, because that Achilles injury isn't easy to come back from. We've seen like Chris Webber. I mean, of a really great Chris Webber. So, I hope it works out for him. But yeah, I think he was on his way too. But I mean, I look at the ESPN rankings. I mean, look at the guys that they have, like 14 Kevin Durant and 13 Steph Curry. No disrespect to those guys, but I mean, it's too early to call it with them. I don't know. It's a young man's game. I mean, I think Isaiah Thomas being like number 31 on that list was ridiculous. I mean, he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. To have him ranked 31. So that's when TP brought up that list. That's why I rolled my eye. I'm like, this list is. Sorry, Mama. I was about to say that word. We don't like to say that, but. Listen, that list had me kind of, looking sideways right now. Kind of looked like Cam Newton laying down on the bench. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
See, now you see. This is why the table works and numbered lists don't work, because you end up disrespecting somebody. Think about it like when you're buying tickets for a stadium and you're just looking at where the seats are and all that. That's how you do the big table, man. We get that big table, family style, and you get as many deserving folks in there as possible.
And then some people sitting at that little small table, like the Cosby Thanksgiving show, and like Rudy and Vanessa had to sit at the small table,
Right.
Okay. Let me say it like this: best point guard, Magic.
There's no
guard is Mike.
Magic Johnson.
Best two guard is Mike, right?
Yeah.
So the best three is Bird?
No, LeBron.
So LeBron is the best three, right?
Yep.
The best four is Timmy, right?
Yeah.
And the best five is Kareem, right?
Yeah.
Why ain't that the five?
I don't have an argument with that. Why? What's wrong?
Why that's not the top five?
Day, man. Some days I say Kareem, some days I say Will.
Oh,
I don't know. Whoa, you take Kareem? You take Wilt over Kareem?
Wow, you got to explain that one. I'm just curious. I would love to know why.
I don't even think it's controversial. Like, if you talk to people of that day about what they saw and what the men could do, like the Wilt stories sound like Paul Bunyan. Like, it don't sound like a real person, things that they were able to see him do. And over the years, just because of the amount of negative press that he got, it started to set a narrative for him to where people said he was lazy, didn't care about winning, like all these other different things that people said about him. And I think that's kind of limited people looking at him and his career. Go look at that little clip of him blocking Kareem skyhook. Go look at that clip of him shooting three-pointers left-handed. Like, just look at the sheer dominance of the man. Y'all talked earlier about how dominant Shaq was and just how big he was, and just his physicality meant you had to design rules to limit him. Well, you talk about the same thing with Wilt,
But you know what? What's the problem with Wilt for me is the fact that he only had 2 rings. And he was on some good Laker teams. And you know, I don't know the Warrior teams that he was on, the Philly Warriors, and when they moved, I think it was San Francisco or whatever, before they came Golden State. You know, those weren't good teams, but 2 rings for a guy that dominant is a problem for me. And I just look at that Knicks series in, I think, was it 71? He had Willis Reed on the ropes, and he let him off. He let him off the hook and didn't show up Game 7. Like, that's – and I agree with you, he gets a bad rap for it, but, like, that's the point. Like, he should have taken him out of that game and should have dominated that game in the Garden. Clyde Frazier went off for one of the greatest Game 7s you've ever seen in your life, and Wilt had nothing to say about it. Like, he you know, that's the problem with me. That's why Kareem, to me, it goes ahead of Wilt. You know what I mean? So, and even like Kareem at the end of Kareem's career,
if you put that microscope on everybody's career, you would make the same arguments against everybody, because everybody's either had bad series or a bad game or a game where a rival did better than them. Like, everybody does. But
not
we
Mike.
define Wilt by those games. That's the weird part.
Yeah, but not Mike. Not Mike. That's why he's the GOAT. Mike never came up small like that.
Mike was going home at one point in his career too.
He was going home, but he didn't come up small.
Heavy for playoff. You know what I mean?
But he didn't come up small. He came up small because Pippen had the migraine, okay, against the Pistons. That second Pistons playoff run when they won the finals, the Bulls should have won that series. Pippen came up small in Game 7. He got the migraine and didn't play or whatever. So, but it wasn't because of Mike. Mike was there. Mike never came up small. He didn't disappear in the finals or in the playoffs. He played big. So, and even Kareem did. Kareem, you know, when everybody said he fell off in the finals against, I think it was 86, 85, 86, when he was playing against the Lakers. The Celtics, and he had a terrible game, and came out the next couple of games and had a vintage hit series and put the everybody was wheeling out the retirement the rocking horse for him. I was young, but I've seen the highlights. They were wheeling out the rocking horse for him. They said he was finished, and he came out, had 40-something points, and put it to bed. So that's why I love.
No. The point is, if you define him by that moment, then you don't talk about his greatness. So same thing early in Magic's career. What was the word? Tragic Johnson. Choke syndrome moments. Remember that? When Magic had that bad playoff. You could do that. No, that was the headline. Y'all don't remember?
That was it.
His second year or third year? Like, this happened.
I think it was his third year when he lost. He didn't lose to the Celtics. I think it was the Rockets, right? It was the Rockets, and they were calling tragic. Yeah. So, you're absolutely right. It was tragic like Magic. That, you know, they even back then he got bad press, you know, but he's still, to me, the greatest point guard. But, like, you know, everybody had to get over that hump. Even Jordan, before he got his rings, everybody said he was just a high flyer. He would never get it done. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. Everybody has that moment where they had to overcome it. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. But I just think Kareem is the greatest center ever.
And plus he's on top. He is on top of the league. Like, it's 38,000 plus that he has, and I think LeBron is in second, and he's like 2,000.
Look. You can have your preference, but if you want to talk about stats, like, you don't want to use stats against Will. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
I know.
All-time stats.
Right, but he's talking about, like, his average, like when Will was having those 50-point averages, and he was averaging damn near triple doubles a season, and like Will was doing some gaudy stuff, but he wasn't winning though. That's the one thing that I put against him. So, and not to just like have that, but I have to do that because Kareem wasn't losing, especially in the '80s. Everybody or Kareem's whole career. Shoot, let alone in college basketball, you couldn't dunk the basketball because of Kareem. Kareem is the reason why everybody has to lay up for about a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made that rule up because they couldn't stop him dunking, like, and the skyhook, like all of that was happening. I want a quick question before we get out of here, right? Because Nas is here in the building, and I know he's an Atlanta guy. He's in Georgia. I want to know how you guys feel about the situation in Atlanta with the Falcons. Like, not just the team, but like, yeah, chill out. I know, I got this. Not, and I don't even know if Nas is a Falcons fan, and I don't think so. But a lot of people are pointing their fingers at Matty Ice too. So I'm like, okay, Matty Ice was able to do this with or without Julio. Like, he's able to get the job done. I'm really looking at more of this being on the lap of Quinn. And a lot of people are like, well, they got to get rid of Matty Ice too. I'm like, well, one, they paid him $100, so they're going to get every last dime out of him to see what he's worth. And two, I'm like, well, they're going to have to go through a whole new structure of a system with a quarterback that could get acclimated to the receiving core that they have down there in Atlanta, especially with Gurley coming in. But I don't understand how these guys have that type of offensive power and they're still able to lose games. And we have had no smoke out of Atlanta talking about his job is in jeopardy. All it has been is us as, analysts or people that break this down or bloggers that say that Quinn should go. Where do you think this lies? Is this more Matty Ice or is this more Dan Quinn? I'll come to you first, Barry. Your thoughts on the situation going down in the dirty?
Yeah, I'll be quick because anything that to not have to talk about my Giants is kind of bliss. But this is Dan Quinn. I mean, he I don't know why his passcode to get into the building still works. Like, this guy, he's got to go. Like, the Super Bowl, they still haven't got over the Super Bowl collapse.
Right.
It's
right.
mind-boggling to me. And to have two straight collapses to Nick Foles God, Dan Quinn is not the answer. You got rid of all your assistants in the off season. You used them as scapegoats. You're still the head coach. You're coming back this year, and it's still the same problems. I mean, it's on you, dude. You're the problem. And Matty Ice is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a winning quarterback as far as winning a Super Bowl. He was almost there, which is kind of mind-boggling, but I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl in Atlanta. So I don't know if they can move that contract to your point. I think he deserves a fresh start. I don't know if the fresh start is in Atlanta. I think if you're Atlanta, you need to tear it down and keep only Ridley, maybe Julio, and move on, but maybe you move Julio too. I don't know. Like, I think you just got to tear it all down.
Julio, if you're listening, you can pack your bags and come to Detroit, Michigan.
Nobody wants to go to the D. Nobody wants to go to the D.
You can grab every car key you have, put it in an AC whittler, and ship yourself to Michigan. I know you're not talking. I know you're not saying please and all of that other stuff.
No, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you pick the D. You pick Detroit. I mean, really?
You better leave me alone. Or you better leave me alone. Because I sparked the hell out of y'all last week. Don't make me do it again because I will terrorize the Giants. Seriously, your thoughts on Atlanta. How do you feel about the situation with Quinn or Matty Ice? Do you think it's the quarterback or the coach?
Fake news.
It's funny that, we have a Giant fan here in the building trying to talk about why key cards are not working.
Oh, nobody should be back in New York.
Right.
I mean, serious. I looked at the NFL power rankings today. Both New York teams are at the bottom. Both New York teams. You put these teams together, they'd still be at the bottom.
I'm just serious, but I digress. You know what I'm saying? You think I was going to let you slide? Oh, hell no, Playboy. Anyway, the Falcons, man, honestly, here's the crazy thing about the Falcons. If anybody is looking at the Atlanta Falcons and blaming Matty Ice, they're incorrect. You know what I'm saying? This honestly falls completely on the shoulders of the head coach who has this team not prepared. Whomever their defensive coordinator is needs to be fired. You know what I'm saying? Matty Ice is out there slinging balls and dropping. His receivers is doing work. You know what I'm saying? Like, Calvin Ridley's doing work. You know what I'm saying? They're scoring enough points to win these ball games. I don't know what happens in the fourth quarter that can create these epic collapses. but that goes to preparation. I'm not sure if it's a conditioning issue. I'm not sure what the hell it is, but they need to fix it immediately. You know what I'm saying? People are talking about how they play Green Bay on Monday night and how this is going to be a walk in the park for the Packers. I'm not quite sure of that because, again, this Falcons team is literally maybe a combined 5 minutes from being at least 2-1, let alone 3-0. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm not sure what in the world is going on. And I just got word that, you know, off topic, I just got word that the Tennessee Titans Steelers game is on Monday night. So, just for that, I'm not sure if I hit that yet with the whole COVID thing going on, but Steelers Titans Monday night.
Nobody wants to watch the Steelers game. Okay, Nash, your thoughts since you are in the eye of the storm. Is it more Quinn or Matty Ice?
Yeah. Hey, before I get there, let me just say this real quick, man. 1959, Wilt, rookie year, 37 and 27. That was the average. 1960, 38, 27. That was the average. 1961, that was the average. And folks, those are points and rebounds. Average, not career highs, not season highs. That's what he averaged during his first 3 seasons in the NBA.
Yeah, why
now,
is Shaq's big head sitting here?
Hey, man, I'm on Stat News. I had to pull it up. The Wilt slander will not be taken. Yeah, I was on Stat News. But look.
Wait, yeah, aren't you driving?
Hey, hold on, man. I pulled over to talk to you guys. Hold on, let me pop this beer, too. No, I ain't got a beer. I pulled over, though. But look, the thing in Atlanta is this. Like, this has been years in the making. So, first things first, Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, he has to go. He hasn't drafted well. A lot of his picks haven't panned out. And because of that, they had to try to overspend in free agency to make up for those mistakes. Second thing, Matt Ryan is a Ring of Honor guy in Atlanta. He'll probably get a statue here, but he's not a franchise all-time great like a Peyton or a Brady or one of those guys, but he's paid like one. So offense has all of the money. The defense is basically cast off, never will be's, and young players that you hope pan out. So you're supposed to win like the Colts did in shootout fashion. The problem is tough in the second half. Matt's not good enough to overcome whatever is in front of him. Last few weeks, all we needed to do was possess the ball, get a few first downs, maybe a field goal. He couldn't get it done because he's just not one of those all-time greats. He's an all-time good. So the Falcons are badly built, and a rebuild is going to take years. And, yeah, we're in a really bad spot. So, yeah, Dan Quinn should have been fired last year. They won 5 games, and somehow they convinced the ownership to let him stay on. And now, you know how it go, man. You forgot to take the trash out. You left it in the garage. Oh, hell. You come back down there 2 days later, it really stinks. So that's what you're seeing right now, man. GM, coach, they all got it.
Wow. So you're a dirty bird. So you are a dirty bird. You're a dirty bird?
Yeah, but understand something. When you say you're a dirty bird, it's like this is Atlanta, man. We are fans when we are winning. When that team is bad, we walk away to the other team or to other activities within the city. We do not have time for losers. That is not what we do down here. We are the fairest of fair weather fans. And guess what? That's a sign of pride to me. That's what we do. So, yeah. Shout out to my Braves who won today.
Listen, I still remember this like it was yesterday. That year that y'all played the Seahawks in the NFC Championship and the Seahawks won down there, it was a Falcon fan. I forget what it was. That's when y'all started that rise up. He broke everything in his house. He ripped his shirt off. He broke the flag, the Falcon flag. He was going off. He tried to walk to the Georgia Dome. He started going crazy. So I know what it's like down there in the A, for real. Like, that's bad. So no, but you got to keep this fair, man. I haven't
winning, we buy in, bro. When we're winning, we buy in. But when we start losing, hey, we don't show up. Well, we got other things to do. It's crazy to be.
You got Love and Hip Hop to film down there. Ain't got time for them dirty birds.
It is what it is, man.
Stevie J, them running wild.
you got to understand. You got to understand what people are used to down here. The heartbreak and losses like you've seen the past couple of weeks. This is what we expect. When you talk about UGA, when you talk about the Falcons, when you talk about the Braves, like this is what we're used to. So it ain't no big deal. We brokenhearted over it, but we move on because we expect the worst. So will the University of Georgia win a national championship, even with top 5 recruiting classes 10 years in a row? Hell no. This is what we do. Will the Hawks complete this rebuilding project that's been going on for 20 years? Hell no. This is what we do. So you see what I mean? We don't expect things. We don't.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know which one would be the biggest debacle, whether losing in the Super Bowl to Denver or losing in the Super Bowl to the Patriots or losing in the World Series to the Twins. Like they had a lot of, bad situations when it was supposed to be championship time and it just didn't go Atlanta's way. I mean, the Braves did end up winning in the latter part of the 90s, but
they won one chip with 14 pennants. They won 100 games every year for 14 years in a row and got one chip.
Best pitching staff maybe in the history of baseball, one chip. Yankees beat them a couple of times, though. Shout out to the Yankees.
Yeah, the Twins had to get in there too. But I think about that too, Nas, when they was winning like that with Bobby Johnson, and just thinking about it was Maddox, it was Glavine. I'm missing somebody else. Oh man, who was in that rotation?
Glavine, Maddox, and Smokes.
All of them in that cavalry, and they couldn't do nothing. Wow.
They came up small in the playoffs, but hey, listen, it could be worse. You could be a Giant fan right now, so there's no.
I'm leaving you alone. No, matter of fact, agree here. Right?
Hold on, Tymeless. He was enjoying my misery a little bit too much. Let's talk about a franchise whose owner was born on third base and thinks he hit a triple. He's not the Mara family member that built that. He's the substitute teacher. He comes in and hires Gettleman, one of the worst football men we've ever seen, who wants to redo the Carolina Panthers, who never won a chip. He wants to redo that in New York. And they bring in Joe Judge because he met Bill Belichick once. This dude walks in, says all of the NFL buzzwords fans like to hear, and the Giants fans fell for it hook, line, and sinker this offseason. Like, bruh, they was talking about Joe Judge like he was already built, bruh. Now we see the product on the field. And Danny Bitcoin, look, if y'all keep losing, y'all better draft Lawrence, man. Danny Bitcoin ain't it, bruh. You don't know what he's worth.
Bitcoin. Okay, so hold on. Okay. First of all, I don't want to hear anybody. No, I gotta respond. I don't want to hear anybody call Daniel Jones Danny Dimes. I don't even want to hear Danny Bitcoin. I don't want to hear Danny Counterfeit Dimes. I don't want to hear Danny freaking Dave and Buster's coins. Fuck that. This dude is until he stops turning the ball over, you are Daniel Jones. I'm calling you by. If I knew your middle name, I would call you by your full government name. Okay, that's one. Mara is on the hook for all of this. Okay, he used I don't even remember the guy's freaking name. Who was the coach when they went to the playoffs? I can't even remember I don't even care. The guy, I don't even remember his name.
Oh, he just came from Green Bay, the Green Bay coach. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Green Bay coach. I can't even remember his name. I'll find out in a minute. But he used him as a scapegoat when they blew up and they destroyed the almost tried to destroy the legacy of Eli Manning and totally botched how they benched him and ended his streak. They used him as a scapegoat. They bring in an even worse coach in Pat Shurmur, who had no track record in Cleveland, and they thought, oh, maybe I can get some wins out of him. They fired Jerry Reese. They bring in Gettleman, which is a joke. And then now listen, I don't know. The jury's not out on Judge yet after 3 games. Who knows? But listen, this is on John Mara. This is his mess. He's to blame. You got a generic stadium in MetLife. It was out of date as soon as the damn open sign was open in that damn stadium. Okay, let's be clear. the Giants are.
It was McAdoo. The coach was McAdoo. The coach was McAdoo,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. McAdoo.
Look, before you start airing them out, I wanted to throw this in there because I wanted you to get the full thing. And this is why I said I aired y'all out on Sunday. This Giants team, and I'm doing this from my heart, Barry. I ain't doing this because I'm coming at you, right? When they sat up there and drafted Saquon Barkley and didn't have nobody that was like, yo, they're going to get him hurt and he's going to have a short career, I'm like, they need to put pieces around him before they get him hurt. And it was a simple run in Chicago. It wasn't like they said the gang after him, but it's like they put the wear and tear on this dude. And he popped his knee. Yeah. He's done for the season. He works out like a horse. This dude is a monster. He squats like 400, damn near 500 pounds. He's going to do that, come back to the same team with the same orchestra around him, and it might endanger him again. Trade him now before y'all hurt this dude. Like that's what I was saying. Like, there's no way that I want to see this happen. Like, Brandon, me and you go at it, but I don't want to see a talent of his caliber. Every time they come out of the tunnel, the defense knows, go get 26. Everybody knows it because there's no pieces around him. His best option around him is Darius Slayton. Other than that, there's nobody. Golden Tate is a shell.
No, you're right. Evan Ingram is too inconsistent and always hurt, but you can see the talent. But I mean, I've seen the talent for 4 years and I haven't gotten anything out of it. You can't trade. You can't trade Barkley. I mean, you can't trade him off an injury. You won't get anything for him, and it's like he's your best player. So you're stuck with him. You're stuck with this guy. Listen, I totally agree with my man. If you're the worst team in the league and Lawrence is there, you draft him. I've seen 16 games out of Daniel Jones, and to say, like, maybe I've seen enough. I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't know what – I've seen him regress. I've seen him last year look very confident in the pocket and look very confident as a passer. I saw a guy at home against the 49ers that looked lost. He looked the worst I've ever seen him look in the pros. And listen, Gettleman's on the hook for this. You drafted him number 6 when you could have got him at 17. No, if you're telling me other teams are looking to get this guy ahead of him, you're wrong. Nobody was looking to draft that guy in the top 10. That's garbage. You went out on the limb. You brought him in here. Your fate is tied to this guy too. Listen, Gettleman is a joke. I don't want to hear this guy with this New York fake Boston accent. I don't even know what the hell he sounds like. Get this guy out of here with the hog molly crap. We need to build this right. I think Judge can be a good coach. I love guys that are special team coordinators. It worked in Baltimore. John Harbaugh is a great coach. I hope it works here, but I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, if I had my way, the guy that should be coaching either one of these New York teams should be the guy that's the offensive coordinator in Kansas City and Bieniemy. He should be a head coach in this league. That's bullshit. He's not a head coach. He should be our coach. But listen, how can I get mad that Gettleman got it wrong? He's gotten everything wrong. Everybody he's drafted, he's gotten wrong. Everybody he's signed as free agent, he's gotten wrong. So it's a joke. It's 0-3. It's about to be 0-4. You know, I feel like the guy in Major League 2. Back the trade up. It's over. Mild thing. You make my butt stink. Like this, I'm done. You can have at it. We're done.
Look, Ford City. We're gonna close up, right? But you see, he tried to make me look like the bad guy. Who's on air cursing now? Ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
ha, ha,
you got me going. You got me going.
Ha 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 ha. Listen, and the crazy part about it is, you want me to put alcohol on his cut? Who is the better quarterback in New Jersey, Darnold or Danny Dimes? Who is the better quarterback in Jersey?
Who's the quarterback for Rutgers?
I know.
I love you guys. I love it.
All right.
You said it wrong.
The worst part.
You said
the
it
worst part about that question. Oh, go ahead, Sis. My bad.
No, say it now. Say it now.
Wrong. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and that goes to the Bitcoin aspect of me calling them Danny Bitcoin. You don't know what they're worth. So it's the same issue with Sam Darnold.
You can't even call them that. You can't even.
No, you can't. You can't because you don't know what they're worth. You don't know with bad coaching, bad roster construction, and everything else that's around them if they're any good at all. So same thing for Sam Darnold. You got Adam Gase running his raggedy I knew Peyton Manning, so somehow I keep getting these gig system. And Sam Darnold may be good. Hell, we'll never know because of the damage under the Jets organization.
No, he's not.
So he's
not good. Sam Darnold is trash.
Listen,
you know what?
He probably is.
No, I don't believe.
But I'm saying we have no way of knowing if he could have been good. We have no way of knowing.
Nah. Wait, hold on. Nah. I seen this his junior year at USC. He still does it now. He looks his receiver down the whole route. Look, that game last year, Monday night, would scare me forever putting him on the field. When Belichick was blitzing him and he said, "I see ghosts," and he knew he was mic'd up. There is no way in hell I'm letting you start for my team. No way. That means we in practice Thursday. That Thursday walkthrough before we get through Friday, Saturday, and get out the game. New blitz packages that he didn't see and come from every single angle, and he's going to toss us the ball. He threw 2 pick sixes last week. The Colts had 2 pick sixes in that game. There is no way I'm giving him that. No way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Listen,
I'll do this for you.
Hold up. You put a man in a position to fail, and then when he fails, you say, "Look at that failure." Like, no, we don't know, bro. That's all I'm saying. The man been coached by Adam Gates.
Here's the deal, Naj. In year 3, you should know what you have in Darnold. I don't know if it's an indictment on Darnold or more if it's an indictment on Gase. Gase is an awful coach. The only reason he is a head coach in this league is because Peyton Manning co-signed him. Are you effing kidding me? You interviewed all these coaches. You could have had Eric Bieniemy as your coach. Listen, Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks all time, but he had a terrible interview, but you're looking at Peyton Manning to tell you need to hire this guy because he was your offensive guru, and that's the guy. This guy looked lost in the press conference. Gase is a terrible coach. He quits on his team. I have never seen a coach a game and quit on his team during the game, throw his hands up, and doesn't know what to do. He has made Darnold look worse than when he did at USC. I agree with TP. He looked bad at USC, but this is correctable. That's correctable stuff that you should be coaching this guy up to fix. And he hasn't fixed it because he's a terrible head coach. I don't know why this guy's still in the league. I don't know why he's still the Jets head coach. He is not going to be the head coach after this year. I think after this debacle tomorrow night, he's out. He's done.
Yeah, he's probably done. But remember, they said the same thing about Ryan Tannehill. He ran Ryan Tannehill into the ground, didn't coach him up well. Ryan Tannehill goes to Tennessee, and we see, okay, he's a competent quarterback. You can actually win with him if you have pieces
Darnold
around.
Could be saved. That's why I think Darnold can be saved, but not on the Jets, on a different team. But Gase is the problem. Gase is a joke. This guy should not be. If he is your coach Friday morning, then everybody on that Jets organization needs to go to Rutgers, and then the Rutgers team needs to go put on the green and black and be the Jets because nobody knows what they're doing. It's ridiculous. And that's the only saving grace. As bad as it is as a Giant fan, it's always worse because there's the Jets.
And now I'm going to hear TP on that boy in Detroit because Patricia needs to be called out as well. I definitely want to hear Tymeless.
Oh, boy. Listen. Hey, here we go. Well, okay, if you're in the chat room, people, call us so you can hear the finish. Look. Anything named Matthew in Detroit other than Prater, and Prater I'm anyway, like Prater need to come take this walk with me. Like, you need to walk with me, Matthew Prater. But other than that, Stafford and Patricia, both of them, they both can get their papers and get up out of there. Stafford saved himself out shooting Murray out of nowhere. I don't even know how that happened. Last year, it was the same situation. They had a shootout that ended up being a tie, and that was the tie that basically made the season look bad. And then Stafford faked an injury to me to sit out the remainder of the season. Patricia, this number had me so mad. Wait, no. This number had me so mad that I was like if I was to see Patricia in the street, we would fight. I'm going to jail, right? Everybody has that pass rush number where it's like even the bottom half of the league, they're in the 30 to 40. The 31st ranked defense was like 31. The Detroit Lions were at the bottom of the league, 32nd ranked, at 19% on pass rush toward the quarterback. That means any quarterback that played the Lions don't even have to worry about a pass rush worry about a blitz coming. They can sit back there and do their thing. You sit back there and take all of the scrutiny through this past couple of weeks and then start sending blitzes. Then start sending safeties. It's like, wait, so how long did it take for you to get pissed off to see this go down? And what are you going to do? You're going to end up getting fired or lose your job, and you're going to go right back to Foxborough, Massachusetts, and get a job with Bill Belichick and call yourself the what do you say, the rocket scientist of defense. Like I have not seen it until this past weekend. And here goes your true test. You play the Saints this week, and the Saints are 1-2, and we're 1-2. So it's like we both need to win this game. Somebody ain't supposed to go 2-2. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it favors Breeze and Kamara. Like it does favor them. You know what I'm saying? If Stafford is able to pull himself. Say that again?
Michael Thomas practice. He'll be
and
back.
I seen that he comes back for the Lions game. Like, figures. Like yeah, his biggest weapon going to come back to play against the Lions. Like great. It's like great.
Yeah,
He's going to come back against
who can't throw the
not against the Packers.
Old man who can't throw the ball but 10 yards, he can throw it to somebody. Michael Thomas is back to cover up the old man's deficiencies. There you go, New Orleans.
Get out of here. And then I hope they continue to beef. I hope Michael Thomas and Kamara continue to beef with Breeze. I hope it's because of what he said this summer. I hope so.
It's that and that.
I don't know.
He's looking like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. And to Matt,
you need to stop.
Anytime y'all go on an interview, put a pencil behind your ear like Matt Patricia. People think you're smart. You get the job.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I'm rooting for the Saints because I'm picking them in the survivor pool. So it's nothing against the Lions. I mean, it does give me personal satisfaction to see TP suffer because that's what heroes need to. They need to suffer. They need to lose a little bit. You know. Come on.
They got two young backs and they giving Peterson all the carries. Like, Patricia's crazy, bro.
Yep.
Listen, but I can't get mad because AP is looking good. That's the crazy part. AP looks like the best part of the offense until Dominic got back.
Don't allow AP on the roster. You know AP, even at 50, he can still get you folks. Like, don't let that dude on the team. Young boys need to carry.
Yeah, I know. Was it Jones carrying Johnson? I mean, I know he like mother.
Right, and he was doing good until this season. It's like Kerryon Johnson got hurt last year, and that's what hurt him. You know what I'm saying? And then they brought Swift in there, and then Swift had that drop week 1, and I'm still mad about that because we could be 2-1. We're 2-1. In my head, there's no way he drops that pass. He was by himself. Nobody deflected it. Nobody breathed on him. His mom wasn't in the crowd crying, nothing. Like, there's no way you drop that pass. There's no way, especially when everything on the line. But it should never got that far because it was up 23-6 in the fourth quarter. And Patricia, the defensive guru, blew it. Like how the defense not doing this? Like, so I don't know. Patricia, if he don't win the Super Bowl, he's out of there. Like I'm not saying that just as a hopeful fan. Like that's the only way that they can promise. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the only way I can promise you a job in Michigan. That's the only way. That's the only way I can promise you. No, there's no way I'm watching that happen, man. And watch after this season, Dan Quinn try to sit on him like, you know what? That's still my guy. Give him one more year. No, I'm not having that. So you're right.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Exactly. Yeah, we can lose. We can lose. We can lose the Saints all we want.
He was so insulted with the mention of playoffs. Shout out to Ursay. Yeah. Or not Ursay.
Only a Lions fan would talk about playoffs and Super Bowl right now. Please.
Wait, hold on. Time out. I said the only way he can keep that job. I'm not. Listen, don't get it twisted. You're not getting it twisted. Please. Right. No, I'm saying. Shoot, I want Stafford going. I'm telling you, like I want Trevor Lawrence. I'm trying to race the Jets and the Giants to Trevor Lawrence.
You're trying to get Matt Stafford's not the problem in Detroit. Yes, he's not going to win, but he's not the problem.
You listen. I know you wouldn't. Wait, hold on. I know you wouldn't.
It's time.
Listen, I know you wouldn't. I want you to try and watch a Lions game fully and see how Stafford plays. Stafford hangs on to
I don't watch the Lions play until Thanksgiving. Get out
right.
of here.
Well, okay, so this Thanksgiving you'll watch. Watch him hang onto the ball a lot, take unnecessary sacks, especially on his side of the field. Like, he'll take a sack deep, and it'll be like 3rd and 20. Everybody knows he's throwing the ball. He'll end up throwing the ball into some crazy coverage and end up getting a pick. You don't value the ball at all. No, it's over. For him to be there for 11 years and nothing's changed, all he is a big arm, no. Bye-bye, see you later.
Wow.
To me, he's like Derek Carr. They both got flashy arms, and that's it.
I'm glad they traded you Matt Stafford for
washed out. No, it's no shot against him. It's just there's a bunch of older QB veterans that need to be washed out. Can't play in the league, but as franchise guys, because their cap number and their age just don't equate to you winning at this point because everything else is so deficient. And then you look at Kyler Murray and Lamar and these other teams where they can still build because they still got their guy at a cheap number. You just, I don't know, you're just treading water. Like, what are you really going to do with Matt Stafford at this point? Like, unless he goes to another contender that's already built, trade him and get something for him. But, man, this is no country for old men, man.
Thank you.
It's a young man's league. You got to draft. You got to draft your quarterback young. You got to build around them. It's like when you're drafted in the first round as a quarterback, you're expected to win by year 2. Like, first year you're learning, year 2 you better start winning. And that's why Danny Dimes, I can't even call him Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, Sam Bradford are on their last leg because and Trubisky too. Trubisky's out. He's going to be gone. Like, if you're not winning with these guys, then it's over. I mean, the only old men that should still have a job in this league are Breeze, Rodgers, and Brady. And put some respect on Rodgers' name because right now, through the first 3 games, if it wasn't for Russell Wilson, that guy would be MVP right now. But Russell Wilson's out of his mind.
Hold on. You forgot one old guy, even though I don't like to do it. Big wheels keep on turning. Proud Mary keep on burning. Rolling on the river. He's 2-1 right now. He's 2-1.
The team is 2-1. Despite it,
he's managing the game.
Big Ben got a little more tread on the tire than Phillip does. Like, if Big Ben is healthy, Pittsburgh's a player.
Okay, but listen, Phillip Rivers will be 39 in December, and he's managing the team. They never asked him to manage the Chargers. He had to be the guy. Now he's doing enough to manage the team without T.Y. Hilton's help. T.Y. Hilton has not been good this whole start of the season. Yeah.
Here's a little
that's probably because Rivers can't give him the ball.
Do not trust Phillip Rivers as a game manager. Pick sixes are coming. Please believe it.
Mm-hmm.
He's 2-1.
The day is long. Pick 6 is coming.
You have to give him credit. Stop. You two, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah,
we can't. None of us talk. Right. Atlanta's 0-3. The Giants are 0-3, and we 1-2. We can't talk. Rivers is doing what he needs to do. None of us.
I know this is pathetic. You got some sad ass teams. I can end on that. Ain't nothing to talk about. Man, there's some sorry teams. Man.
Hey, as long as you tell the truth about them, it's all good. As long as you ain't lying.
I'm not delusional. I ain't delusional. I know it's a hot mess. I'm listen. Listen. I woke up this morning. I looked at NFL.com power rankings. Both New York teams are at the bottom. It's only a matter of which team you hate more. Okay, it is pathetic. Okay, it's pathetic.
Yeah, but try being at the bottom and capped out. That's what the Falcons.
The Jets have cap space and they still can't figure it out. That's what's mind-boggling. They have a young quarterback. They have cap space and they still can't win a game. They still can't find the right players to come there. Mosley said, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna go somewhere else." Like what? Like no, not Mosley. Anthony Barr. The linebacker. He's like, no, I'm going to go to Minnesota instead. He had the contract from the Jets. He said, no, I'm good. I'm going to go to Minnesota instead. Like, oh God, you can't back a truck out of a chunk full of money out of New York and give it to somebody to come there. It's TP. I can't do it.
Call Jamal Adams, and they on the phone like two gossiping teenagers. Jamal like, girl, you want to come out here? Like, yeah,
exactly. Listen, Naj, they said. Adam Gase had a press conference after, I think, their second loss and said, we were prepared. We had a great week of practice. One of the players came out and said, oh, no, we didn't. We had a terrible practice. We haven't had a good practice all year. That's going back to the off season. Like they said he haven't had a good practice. When your players are coming out and saying you haven't had a good practice, you know it's bad. Okay, So
he's lost the locker. We've lost the locker room already.
Lost the locker room. You got to have the locker room to lose it. I think
we've all worked at a place where everybody didn't respect the manager, and you've seen how that went until they got a new manager.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
lose the locker room. You got to have the locker room to lose it, man. Please, they lost him as soon as that press conference. His eyes all bugged out, man. Man. TP, I can't. I'm
okay. We're gonna set it down. We're gonna.
Yeah. But y'all notice how quiet Sirius was. How quiet Sirius was.
No.
Because Sirius knows if Big Ben is healthy, they still got a shot.
No, Sirius walked out he walked out. But no, so we gonna shut it down because we got the cooking today. That's for sure. But I know we got to keep this going. The cookout was awesome today. I got great participation, so we'll be back in here. But I need plugs and closeouts from each of you because I didn't get to cover everything. And if people aren't wondering what's going on in Orlando, the Lakers are up 20 at the start of the fourth. The Heat look like they can get swept. 95-75. Plug closeout. I'll start with you first, Nas. Let me know.
Yeah, the Heat will get one. You should expect this for game one. Wide-eyed young boys then got far on the big stage. You can expect some nerves, but, they'll get that thing together and maybe get one. But overall, when you got two of the best five in the league, you're going to win. So, this was nice, Miami, but this ain't Disney, bro. It's the NBA. Best talent wins.
Well, they are in Disney. They are in Disney.
Nah, this ain't a Disney movie, though. Ain't no hero story. Exactly. Ain't no miracle at the last. Nah, you go home.
This ain't a movie, dog. Okay. We'll close out before we get up out of this cookout.
I had more fun than I had in a while talking junk with TP. It's always a pleasure going up against this guy. But listen, my team stink. I know it, but my Yankees are winning 8-6 in the sixth inning. That's what's keeping me alive. That's what's keeping me going. We'll be back next week to do it again. Shout out to everybody that's listening, and if you download the show, we'll be at it again. We'll be cooking out again, and TP, don't be cooking me no dry ass ribs. You better put some seasoning on that. You heard?
Listen, in the words of one of, I'll say one of, because I have them tied up, right? And I'm glad that I got Nas here, right? So in the words of one of my favorite rap groups in the Dirty South, I got good old-fashioned soul food. Yeah. Good old-fashioned soul food. All right. Everything is for free. As good as it could be. Come and get your soul food. So don't do that because I got you. You say you got good old energy. I can sing that whole song because I'm a Goodie Mob fan by far. By far.
Dirty South, Dungeon Family.
Believe me, that's dirty. People don't even know Dirty South. That song that song went over people's heads. Maybe even Nas probably don't even know about Goodie Mob.
No. We just act like Goodie only dropped 2 albums. We don't recognize the third one. We just say it never happened. So shout out to Goodie.
I got the whole catalog.
Wow.
I got the whole catalog. Still standing, World Party with you out of your mind. I got all of that. One Love, You Don't Stop, No Show.
I don't know what World Party means. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
It didn't happen.
Why you don't know? I named no catalog. Look, I got it. I got it.
That's kind of like with me, TP, like Wu-Tang's a Better Tomorrow. That album never happened. I don't acknowledge it. They're
breaking up my outro, Sports City. I'm trying to go out. They gave their clothes out, the plug out. And look at what I do when I try to hit them with a soul food song. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell them about that, man. Y'all 6 off Sports City. We'll be back in the building Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Unless these dudes get me to cook up again, because I still have more topics listed here. But it was so good. I'm pumped, just like Barry said. I'm glad I got him pumped. I got Nas in the building. theories went throughout the whole show, too. This was great. Hopefully everybody get the word out, download, share the thing. On that note, tell a friend to tell a friend that it's the chefs again. My people tell you, and if you don't know, now you know.
God for them all, we keep it alive. Respect to the newcomers, but respect mine. I'm young Spitfire like a flamethrower. H the reason I'm dope now, I told him. My brother, I got this, we got this. Sealed in the bag, my bruh, it's in the pocket, fresh from the era of fear and terror. Yeah, we made it, bitch. Most niggas never. Now, look us now, we like a mirage. Up to date, everything, Sergeant Boss. Captain Hooks, I front you a 16, lend niggas a few lines, yeah that's mine, this groundbreaking fresh, there is no blueprint, set a few trends and move on to new shit, all praise is due, the infamous too, fuck with that shit you rap, it's not true, we are timeless.